Vishy, Anand and Nihal Sarin, they set the standard in the rapid. Now it's time for Tata Steel Chess India Blitz. Welcome everyone. We are live from Kolkata. I'm Tanya Sachdev. Alongside me, Sahaj Grover. Sahaj, it gets faster, it gets more furious, the pace gets higher. What do you expect from day one of the Blitz?
I expect chaos, and I expect people to be excited as I am, because I feel this is where the fun begins. You have 9 rounds of fast-paced matches, so many blunders, so much drama incoming. I think it's going to be a fun day.
It's going to be thrills and chills of Blitz chess with the best in the world. And what a day it was yesterday, the final day of Rapid. We're seeing who's got the momentum, who is in form, who is in shape. With the players arriving yesterday into the Dhonodhanya Auditorium, you could already feel the tension of that final day. And it was this man, it was all eyes on Vishy Anand. Sahaj, I got some inside info that it's when Vishy walks into the auditorium, the playing arena, is when the crowd goes absolutely wild. They've got the applause for every other player, but it is at a different level when Vishy enters.
Well, absolutely. He's godfather of Indian chess, and he's been dominating the Indian chess scene for decades, and that's an understatement. So if anyone deserves that applause, it is Vishy, ultimately. So I'm not at all surprised. In fact, if I was there at the auditorium, I would be cheering for Vishy myself.
What a performance it was by him. 6 out of 9 is where he finished. He finished in second place. And of course, it was Nihal Sarin who took the Rapid. It's the second time he's done that. He was also the winner in 2022. 6.5 out of 9. What a fantastic performance he's had, especially considering the range of emotions that Nihal was going through with the tragedy of losing his grandfather. He spoke about that with us in the interview, and Sahaj showing incredible strength there and dedicating this win to his Nanaji.
It is very sad, and yes, really nice to see that still he was able to play elite level chess and still be able to win and dedicate this win to his Nanaji. And what a story this is.
What a story it is, especially an add to that story that it wouldn't have even been a reality had Gukesh not withdrawn from the tournament. Coming into the tournament and playing the way he did, just incredible performance there by Nihal. Something to be said also about Arjun Erigaisi there, really finding his momentum and form going into the Blitz. You said it, Sahaj, you pointed it out. It's his 4th bronze in a row. And I think he's definitely looking at a color shift of that medal in the Blitz.
Absolutely. And I think for Arjun, for me at least, he's going to finish top 2 in the Blitz. That's my prediction. I'm not sure whether it's going to be 2nd or 1st, but for me, I think it's not going to be 3rd anymore, because he's definitely looking to break that streak. But then again, you have 2 players, Nihal and Vishy, who absolutely dominated the rapid section from day one indeed. I mean, Nihal had a bit of a, let's say, a shocker in the first round when he lost to Arjun, but overall, he came back so strong, and he has shown such great chess so far. For me, these 2 and Arjun are someone to watch out for.
It's going to be an amazing day here at the Dhonodhanya Auditorium. The players have arrived in the building. In a few moments, they will step into the arena. And there's going to be sweet, sweet chess action, giving us a lot of joy.
Oh yes, the city of joy.
It is the city of joy. And for Vidit, I think he's going to be looking at a stronger performance there. And let's also talk about the form that we saw of Kateryna Lagno. She's a 3-time Blitz world champion. Rapid is not even her mainstay when it comes to these faster formats, and yet she took the title with 1 round to spare with a 1.5 point margin. She's going to be a force to reckon with today.
And she was completely unbeaten in the entire event. And Tanya, it was a 1.5 point lead, but there was just one player on 5 points, and all the other were on 4.5 or 4. So it was, just one player had a 1.5 point lead. Apart from that, it was 2 or more, which is absolutely crazy for Lagno.
Just goes on to show the domination she had. By the way, I love those visuals that we saw of the players signing autographs, all smiles after the Rapid there, especially on Nihal and Vishy in that one. It's clear that Kolkata loves chess. Chess truly belongs here. It's a city that gave India its 2nd Grandmaster, Dibendu Barwa. We've had the iconic Goodrick Open being held here for so many years. So from elite chess to And now I'm blanking out. The Goryachkina flyover. The Goryachkina flyover where, just there you've got these heated debates over a cup of coffee or tea and the chessboard. There's so much chess culture in the city.
Speaking of chess culture, I have very fond memories of Kolkata as well, because my first Grandmaster Norm was indeed in Kolkata as well.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So a lot of memories for a lot of players, and we're going to make some more memories today. It is day one of the Blitz at the Tata Steel Chess India, and our man on the ground, Rakesh, is ready to set the stage for you.
Welcome to the Blitz here at the Tata Steel Chess India 2026. We have a packed audience here on the weekend. Congratulations to Nihal Sarin on winning the open section in the Rapid. Kateryna Lagno won the Blitz, but we won the women's section actually. But we are here for the Blitz tournament. Vishy, Anand and Arjun Erigaisi have won this event in the past. Before, can they do a repeat and win 2 titles like Magnus Carlsen? We will see. In the women's section, Kateryna Lagno starts as the defending champion. Can she do a double like Magnus Carlsen did? Time will tell. But let's ask fans who is their favorite player. So, who's your favorite player? Whom are you rooting for here?
Vishy sir.
Vishy sir. Whom are you rooting for?
Viswanathan Anand.
Vishy Anand. Any Arjun Erigaisi or Nihal Sarin fans that we have?
Arjun Erigaisi.
Arjun Erigaisi, yes. Arjun. So we have a packed audience. Nihal Sarin, Arjun Erigaisi, Vishy sir. Everything to play for. Or will the foreigners like Hans Niemann or Wesley So make an upset? We'll see. 9 rounds of Blitz in a double round robin format. Let's go back to the studio. Tanya and Sahaj, take it away.
Brilliancies, blunders, drama on and off the board. We can expect more of that. But Sahaj, I saw a big smile on your face when Rakesh even went up to your mom. She's in the building along with a packed crowd there.
Absolutely, my mom. This is actually the first time my mom has visited me in any of the commentary events that I have done, and this is why this event is very, very special to me. And seeing her on the screen is amazing.
Shout out to Dimple Auntie there. I think she's traveled with us so much ahead when we were kids, this tournament. So for her to come here and watch you in your second inning with chess as a commentator is truly, truly special. And it's going to be a special day there as well. We saw the fans also saying that, having Nihal, Vishy and Arjun, so much support for them, cheering them on. It's going to be a lot of pressure on the players. In the women, Kateryna Lagno, that's a name. Watch out for that. She's the player to beat. Let's talk about the format that we've got for the Blitz. It paces up. We've got 2 days of 9 rounds each. It's a double round robin. The players play each other twice with colors reversed. They only start with 3 minutes on the clock. Every time a move is made, they get an extra 2 seconds. There will be a tie if there is, it's undecided who's at the top, if there's more than one player at the top at the end of 18 rounds, but that's a far way off. 9 Blitz games. Sahaj, how important of a factor will endurance be today?
I was thinking that maybe the players are thinking 18 rounds are a bit too much, but then again I realized in World Blitz they just played 19 rounds. Most of these players have just played 19 rounds, so for them I think this is not gonna feel as difficult, because I think when it comes to Blitz, things just flow, and it's spaced out pretty nicely. They're playing 9 rounds today, 9 rounds tomorrow. I assume they're playing each of the opponents with different colors on each day, and yeah, I think it's going to be a fun day.
It's going to be a super fun day. It's going to be very, very quick as well. The players are ready to go. They are in the arena right now. We're getting ready for the ceremonial moves. What a weekend this is in Kolkata. We see a packed Donatanya auditorium there. It's a house full, and right center stage, it is Vishy Anand versus Wei Yi.
Oh yes, that is the star matchup. Vishy, the lightning kid, and then Wei Yi, who has ice in his veins. We saw him playing and defeating Arjun Erigaisi in the quarterfinals of the World Cup, and then taking a candidate spot in the World Cup as well. So many times he had less than 2 seconds, sometimes even 1 second on his clock, and yet he makes the move so calmly, without any pressure, without his hand shaking. And I think this is going to be a very, very interesting match. But Tanya, I feel that in order to play Blitz well, you need to earn, or you need to get that momentum right. So I believe whoever wins the first match, or whoever gets an easier pairing in the first match, has a good chance of being at the top, as we have handshakes Vishy, as usual, goes for the king's pawn opening.
In this field, there are no easy pairings, and completely agree with you that the rounds go so quickly, and we've got a Sicilian right there in front of us. We will keep our marquee matchups, Sahaj, that we're going to focus on. It's difficult to do justice to all the boards, so we'll have some big storylines, and then we'll get everyone up to date with the action that we've missed in between rounds. So Vishy and Wei Yi starts with a Sicilian, but so far it feels like a delayed Alapin by Vishy, where he wants to reinforce the idea of d4, first defending it with his own pawn.
I think nicely said there, because once you take that pawn on d4, I will capture with the d4 pawn. And Vishy has just played d4 and Wei Yi says, no, I'm not going to capture, because if you capture on d4, then you allow my knight on b1 to jump to c3. This is not something that Wei Yi should allow. Let's see how Vishy will respond here. To be honest, I feel how fast Vishy was playing in the rapid segment. I think this will be much easier for him, because he's been playing Blitz all along.
And he had an interesting take on that. He said if he falls low on time, he just feels like the blunders will happen, the nerves will not be there. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles this change in pace. Let's move to Hans versus Praggnanandhaa. That's another big clash here. Both these players, for Hans, he finished joint third, tied for third in the rapid. I think a bit of an up and down tournament. For Pragg, he finished sixth. He's definitely not happy with his performance, and this is what we have early on in the game.
Absolutely, Pragg making that big surprise in the opening with the delayed Kozio. But however, looking at the time, it feels like Hans has sort of switched the situation to Pragg, because we have almost a 50-second difference between these two players, and not even a minute has passed. Wow, Pragg goes a5. I think this is looking pretty good for Hans, just looking at the time situation. What are your thoughts on this, Tanya?
It's a crazy position because Pragg hasn't castled yet. He's expanding on the queen side, but White also has the option to do the same, and he's done exactly that on the other flank. F4, taking the fight head on, attacking the black knight. Where are you going to go? If you go to g4, it looks like, well, you're just losing a piece there. If you go to c4, you end up losing a pawn. Not so many options if you're black here.
Absolutely. You can't go knight c6. He goes knight c4. He gives away the pawn. I'm guessing he's going to get that activity with bishop a6 at some point. The question is, does Hans take? No, he goes knight d2, but he is eyeing that c4 pawn down. Just in case there is some bishop a6 counterplay incoming. But right now, Pragg is under a lot of pressure already out of the opening.
And you've got all the bars across the 5 boards right there. We can see the evaluation, what it's like. Look at the clock difference here. Almost up a minute on that. I like that Hans didn't rush with queen takes pawn, which would have allowed bishop to a6 once you defend this bishop, stopping White from getting safety on the king side. A very dynamic position here. For black, I think you want to aim for the d5 break. You want a quick rook b8, eyeing the b2 pawn. So both players having good chances in this game.
Absolutely. It's a 3-result game, but you know what doesn't feel like a 3-result game? It is the game of Wesley versus Vidit, because Vidit is already attacking on the king side. Look at that g5 pawn. That g4 move is looking so tempting to me. Knight h5, knight f4 incoming. This looks bad for Wesley.
And Viz needs to capitalize it on quickly. The clock is as much as important a factor than the board, but with it paces that out a little bit. He doesn't immediately go for g4 or the knight jump. He brings the rook to the game, but he has to play fast. He has to put pressure on Wesley's clock. So important to not choke in Blitz.
So important. And now I think it's difficult to make a move for Wesley here, because he takes the pawn on e5. I think it's his attempt to simplify the situation as he goes knight c4 to attack the pawn on e5. How will Vidit defend this? He goes queen c5. He's looking at that f2 pawn and defending the e5 pawn at the same time. I really like Vidit's position. I'm taking black here every time. Look at how tempting the move g4 really looks here.
And it's always, it's that threat is stronger than the execution, right? In Blitz, your opponent always has to worry about a move g4. So very smartly, I think Vidit just holds on to that. It's like a dangling sword. And for Wesley, he'll have to spend time every move keeping that factored in. The move g4.
Exactly. He has to calculate every single time that Vidit can play g4. Also keep an eye out for that bishop takes h3, because Vidit is known for that. He did that against Hikaru in the candidates. It is possible in a position like this as well, but we'll see if that actually happens.
Alright, let's go back to the Vishy board, because there is an uncastled king and it is Wei Yi's king. And I have to say, Vishy's position optically looks beautiful, Sahaj. Perfect harmony in pieces. The h-pawn, it's very Alpha 0-esque right now. It's Alpha Vishy right now. h5, h6 in the air. The knight can join the party as well. He does it, checkmate in one being threatened.
And maybe provoking g6 or knight f5. I can see knight f5 shown by the blue arrow as the only move in this position to keep things balanced, and Wei Yi plays it.
He blocks the idea, and the point is that a move like g4, you've got the in-betweener, bishop takes knight, and then picking up the d4 pawn, getting rid of the key attacker with knight f5.
Absolutely, g4 looks very, very tempting to me, but this bishop takes g5. He goes knight f3 back. Oh, was that a mistake? As in, did Vishy accept that it was a mistake?
And you can pick up the h4 pawn. That mistake comes with the cost of an extra pawn, not just the repetition. But with that, Vishy's open up the h5. He can look at ideas like g3, push that bishop away, step up the king one square, line up the rook on the h line.
Tanya, what about rook c8 though? That's why I believe that's why he went queen d2 in this position, because rook c8, that nice intermezzo would have exchanged.
Rook c8, queen takes rook. Nothing is clear there.
Bishop goes back to d8, bishop. Yeah, you're right.
Bishop g5, some tactics there. So, but
Wow.
Vishy anyway stops the idea. Rook c8, queen takes rook is the line that we were looking at. But Vishy makes sure that rook c8 doesn't arrive at any point, and now no back rank weakness for Wei Yi.
Look at that. As Wei Yi pushes the golden pawn, the position becomes equal once again, and the lightning kid is back. I'm choosing Vishy's position here every time. And look at that time difference, by the way, 40 seconds. Such a healthy advantage
And that
when it
queen-
comes to the clock.
It's coming in, Sahaj. It's being forced back to a really nice square. Though queen takes queen gives a beautiful pawn on d6. The white rook eyeing the c7 square in that endgame. Vishy up on the clock. Wei Yi playing on seconds, and there's only a 2-second increment.
Absolutely, and now that the knight on e2 is gonna find its safe haven on e5, as pointed out by you. He goes g5, putting a stop to it. No knight f4 incoming, and Vishy goes rook c7.
He's going to do another route. He's going to go knight c1, knight d3.
And he does it. Knight c1 is on the board. Knight d3, knight d5 incoming. Very difficult to predict a result here, but I think Wei Yi having 3 seconds on the clock, he has to play fast.
So pawn on c7, one step away. Bishop's forced back. The knight has come into the game. Vishy's got the time advantage, over a minute on the clock. Is he about to get the first win? He's down a pawn, but putting the pressure on Wei Yi.
The problem is that he's down too many pawns here. He will definitely lose the c7 pawn as well, because nothing can defend it at the moment. And he goes f4. Wow, that was the only move in the position to keep things balanced.
He
And
sacrifices one more pawn there. Wei Yi saying, I'm going to keep my structure intact. He's coming for the c7 pawn. He's going to give a check. Vishy will pick up the g5 pawn.
And now I think you can put your knight on e5 once again, but where you can play king b6 and that would be winning, but he didn't have enough time. He goes king d6, that's a mistake.
He made that move with 1 second remaining. There's barely any increment to make time. And look at Wei Yi, he still looks so cool. He's not panicking at all. Saj, position-wise, it is in the balance, but Vishy has a huge clock advantage. Is he going to try to flag Wei here?
I think he can try, but knowing Wei Yi and watching him all of these years, I think he's just so ice cold when it comes to these situations. I don't think he's going to flag. I believe Vishy will try to find a way to break the fortress that Wei Yi has set up in this position, but I think there's not enough venom in this position for it to be a win. I'm expecting a draw here.
And look at the speed. Vishy will try to get his king towards that lone weakness on a5. If he wins that, it would be game over. Gives a check correctly, and there's a repetition that's happening, but Wei Yi declines it. He's playing for a win. Wei Yi is.
Wow, but where is the...
He's getting his own king towards the g3 pawn.
But even if you get king g5, then what? You have to play f4.
And then he'll get the king towards the d pawn.
Yeah, I play king c3 and I just move the knight up and down.
And as more pawns get hoovered off the board, it gets closer to that draw. A big threat of a fork. Knight d6 check.
Knight e5 back, I guess. Or
Gives
yes,
a check.
G5 check and knight f7 back. He's just trying to make sure that black is never able to play the move e5, and Vishy still has a minute on the clock. I mean, what is happening here?
Incredible time management is what is happening. Vishy, the confidence with which he's making his move, attacks the a5 pawn. So he just knows, and then one more pawn gets traded, getting closer to that draw. If the white knight gives itself up for that d5 pawn, that's game over. This is a draw incoming.
Oh yes, he will go knight b3 and just take the pawn on d4, and that would just be a draw. He just voluntarily gave up his pawn. Yep, there it is. That's a draw.
And handshakes, and that's the first game that finishes. All the other games are on and they're still in the balance. We'll go to Hans Niemann versus Praggnanandhaa. We have a fascinating queen pawn endgame in that Hans has an extra pawn, but very far away right now. And besides, these endgames are very tricky to hold.
You know, in Blitz, this is a horrible endgame to hold. as black. So I feel for Pragg here. With a little bit of extra time, it's still a very complicated endgame, but with no time, this is so difficult. But the key here is, chat, you want to give diagonal checks.
Whoa, and look at that, he blunders into a forced queen trade. Praggnanandhaa does, and that is it. With that, the A-pawn was unstoppable. Hans Niemann beats Praggnanandhaa. We've got Vidit, who won against Wesley. Vishy's game ends in a draw. Arjun Erigaisi beats Murzin. And I believe there's one more game remaining, Sahaj.
I think all of the games have finished. Arjun has defeated Murzin. Vishy has drawn his match against Wei Yi. Wesley has lost against Vidit. Hans has defeated Pragg. And then Nihal has drawn against Aravindh.
And we've got Kateryna Lagno against Rakshitta Ravi right now, the winner of the Rapid. This one's on. And we'll get that board up really quickly. And we'll try to figure the board as quickly as we can.
Okay, there we have it. This is the current position on the board. It's a very interesting end game. Rakshita is trying to hold. Wait, was that a draw offer that... Wait. Why did she resign there?
And it was a complete... she didn't get flagged.
Wait a second. Why did Lagno resign there? I don't understand.
Rakshitta Ravi won. What's the clock? She's got enough time on the clock. And in this position that we have in front of us, Lagno felt that this was... We had few more moves coming in.
Oh, there must be some blunder.
And...
She plays... Wow, G4 was a very bold move by Rakshita Ravi there. She's really trying to play for... Wow. Look at that. Look at that conversion there by Rakshita Ravi. I think the board is kind of setting itself up again.
Alright, we'll come back to that. But what a round this has been. So fast-paced. And we're going to take a quick short break to fix this, and we'll be right back. And we're still catching our breaths after all the action that we just witnessed in round one. Incredible number of decisive games there. Huge one-move blunders. And I believe, Saj, we have just enough time to show one of them that caught our attention. And chat, look at what happened between Wesley So and Vidit Gujrathi. Wesley playing with the white pieces in here. He starts with the king's pawn opening, and we saw the Gaiko piano, the Italian opening happen. This is all standard theory. Everything in the balance. We see his favorite structure where he doesn't rush castle with the black pieces, but instead advances with 8-6 g5 and then transfers his knight to the other side of the board to eye that f4 square. He did all of that. Wesley strikes in the center. That's traditional chess wisdom. Your opponent's playing on the flank. You strike in the center. Vidit continues to develop his pieces. He's also eyeing a potential b5 break. He's tying down white's pieces to that a pawn. Castle happened. Vidit improved the position of his pieces. He centralizes his rook. A very healthy position for both players. Both are playing still in familiar territory. And this is where Wesley decides to reroute his knight to those light squared weaknesses in the center of the board. Sahaj, you were happy with queen to c5, the battery with the tender spot of f2 in line there. The light squared bishops come off the board. Vidit says, I want to play against your bad bishop on h2 right now. Wesley says, well, at least I have a target at the center of the board. He chases the queen. Queen takes pawn, rook to a1. That is not a pawn sacrifice because Wesley at the end of that ends up regaining the b7 pawn. The knight comes back to safety. Everything is still within holdable territory here. This is the first imbalance of bishop versus knight. Here, Vidit, with about a minute on the clock, it's still a very dynamic endgame.
Absolutely. He goes knight d7, knight c6, and now I feel this is where the position starts to switch to Wesley's favor as he centralizes the rooks, goes rook a8.
Also that beautiful knight on c6.
Beautiful. And now knight d4. Look at that harmony of the pieces.
He's taking over. Wesley is. He wins one pawn. Vidit tries to create chaos on the other side. He sacrificed another one. The knight jumps in. It's eyeing that h3 pawn. Picked up with a check. The knight came back. Still, Wesley's doing well here. Vidit's hopes on that h pawn on the right flank. Look at the way Wesley traps Vidit's rook. He has to give. How did Vidit win this position?
That's actually a very, very interesting story because after this exchange up position, Wesley was the one trying to win. He was giving some checks. You can see there was a repetition on the board and Wesley says, no repetition because I think I'm winning. And he was right. He is indeed winning. Gives another check on g8 and plays rook g4 to attack that pawn on g5. Takes the pawn on h4. And now...
And Vidit, he's struggling for a draw here. Both players now playing on seconds and crazy things happen when you play on second. And right here, Sahaj, I think is the question you want to ask your chat.
I've been asking this question to our chat, I think, throughout the day. But this is where it actually happens.
Yeah, and we go really quickly, Sahaj, because we've got the players on the screen already for round two.
So chat, find the worst move for white here. Because white actually played it.
And I don't know if our chat will find it or not, but you will absolutely not believe this. Wesley found the worst move here and he played it. Rook to g4, boxing up his own king, and rook h2 is how Vidit Gujrathi got his point. That's a checkmate on the board, putting Vidit on the scoreboard, and there we've got action on. So we'll quickly go back to the live board here. It's Vidit versus Hans. It's a big one, and once again we see the Italian on the board.
Oh yes, Italian I think is a favorite at this point for Vidit. It has been working wonders for him, but let's see if it does him justice with the white pieces as he puts his knight on c3, which is a sort of a newer way of playing this, setup. And Hans also coming off with a win. I think both of them feeling quite motivated so far.
They have to be, but I have to say for Vidit it was gifted. In a position where Wesley is up an exchange, and it's a game for two results. In one move, it became a game for that third result.
Exactly. It's never, no position is actually two results. And I think Wesley's last move actually confirmed that for us. But this match that we are looking in front of us could very well decide the sole leader for...
Early days, Sahaj. Early days, though.
There are only 3 players on 1 point.
There are only 3 players. It's true. It's a long tournament ahead. All right, Sahaj, but let's go to a big marquee matchup. It's the clash between the winner of Rapid and Vishy Anand. It's Nihal versus Vishy again. This is the final round of day 3 of the Rapid here. And this one, what do we make of this? Is that another Italian? Or
Oh,
is
yes.
it's an Italian.
I think
A4.
it's an Italian, and Vishy has pushed A5 and B4. But okay, very similar to Spanish in that sense. We know White's plans. White wants to put his knight on F5, maybe try to reroute his knight from F3 to H2 and G4, and try to basically target the king side as all of your pieces are looking in that direction. And Black, which is Vishy in this sense, is gonna try to break the center as he does with D5 and Rook E8, and it is now a battle.
It is
So, sorry to cut you off there, Tanya. I just wanna give a huge shout out to Rakshita Ravi for defeating Lagno in the
Wow.
first round with the black pieces. Lagno is a heavy favorite. Rakshita Ravi is the lowest rated player of this event. With the black pieces, she defeated, basically our pick, to win this event in this sense.
Wow, and I completely agree. Blitz is indeed pure chaos there. We see crazy things happen in time scrambles. Even players, elite players like Wesley walking into a checkmate in one. Said you gave a very important shout out to Rakshita. I'm going to go over to our women's section, and Divya had a first round win as well. It's an all-Indian clash between Divya and Vantika. We'll quickly take a look at that because I have to say, optically, it looks extremely good for Vantika. You've got this open C line, pressure on it, the knight beautifully placed on C5 right now. And you can take that with your B pawn. You can take it with the D pawn. I would be inclined to take it with the B pawn, capture towards the center.
Oh, Vantika says, I agree with you as she takes the pawn back. And now, I think this is basically your instinct, because we are taught that all the pawn captures should be towards the center. And whenever you're confused, you just switch back to your basics. And this is why both of us and all three of us are sort of suggesting the same move here, B takes C5. And now Vantika has a pretty, I would say, sizable advantage from the bar I can see, although I cannot explain it, why she has that advantage in the sense. Is it
It's
because
going to
of
be yes.
double bishops?
Yes,
or-
it has to be that. And also it just feels like at the right time, you're the one who holds the key to the breaks that are possible in the position, whether it's F3, E4 or a potential A4 if you're white here at the right moment. The dark squared bishop unchallenged. Divya playing ambitiously there. Meanwhile, Kateryna Lagno, she's better against Aleksandra Goryachkina as well. A beautiful knight placed on G5. Has got the bishop pair, the H5 pawn can come under target on E2, and looks like she's making a strong case for a comeback win here.
Absolutely. I think looks like a very interesting position for Lagno. Very balanced, but yes, because of the double bishop advantage, I think she has good chances. But Goryachkina is not an easy opponent because in the rapid, she's the player who finished second. She's the only one who was 1.5 points behind Lagno there. So she is out here to make her mark. She's not going to make it easy.
You're saying the world rapid champion is not an easy player.
I think some might say that, yeah.
Fair case in point here. All right, let's go back to our open section here. Nihal versus Vishy. A lot of moves have happened, and this last one, a brilliancy by Nihal. Just very quickly, not going to go all the way back, but right about here. Says this is how the game progressed. And the bishop came out, the queen moves away. We saw central tension, E5 attacking that knight, forcing it to go forward. The pawn on E5 could not have been picked up due to problems of pin along the diagonal. The knight jumps to E4, there's a trade, and this comes with a big threat of E6.
Also, bishop takes F7 check in E6. That's so good. Nihal is absolutely on fire. He's about to take down Vishy. I think some more moves have been played. He went queen a7 and knight g5 was played.
Yes.
Basically, this is game over. Queen h5, let's bring it. Or rook takes e4.
Queen h5 looks incredibly strong. He just simply grabs on e4. That's a pin. We might be seeing resignations here.
Oh yes, 21 move miniature by Nihal.
It was a 21 move draw yesterday against Vishy in the final round that got Nihal the rapid win. And right now, crushing here. I don't even see a way to keep the game going. You need to defend this, and however you choose to keep the knight protected, queen h5 looks incredibly powerful. Let's also point out, after bishop c7, you also have bishop takes pawn check.
Oof.
The knight is pinned. Knight takes bishop and rook takes rook. Game over.
Anya, you're so quick. This bishop takes f7, knight takes f7 just looks so deadly for Vishy. I believe this is just resignation. And you can see that Vishy is thinking, oh, there it is.
Nothing to be done against this powerful attack, and Nihal with a miniature win here. Bishop f4, and it was pretty much game over after that. Sehaj, let's go to Vidit versus Hans right now. Hans playing with the black pieces. And I'm doing a quick math. It's 7 pawns for Vidit. It's only 6 for Hans.
I believe Hans is on the verge of being winning, if not winning. He can take the pawn on b4. Doesn't. He takes the pawn on d4 instead. Still a good choice.
I love it. The knight coming to c3, Sahaj. Control of the open e-line. What is Vidit's rook on f3 even doing? Knight c3 is a big threat right now. The queen will move connected to the bishop. Rook e1 coming in.
Yeah, I think the only sort of hope for Vidit is that it's opposite colored bishops. That way he can try to hold down a fortress in this match. But he has 16 seconds, so the moves are coming in super quickly.
They really are, and we can see the bars there. Arjun Erigaisi with a big advantage over Wei Yi. We can quickly take a look at that and come straight back to Hans.
Of course, there we have the quarterfinals of the World Cup and incoming once again. But yeah, Arjun is going to be the sole leader now, yeah, alongside Nihal.
Ooh, big moment for him here. Double bishop pair. Look at those beautiful pawns at the center of the board. Wei Yi's rooks trapped down there. Saj, let's go back to the Hans board right now. Vidit in trouble.
Vidit in deep trouble
He just
here.
made a big mistake.
Wait.
Oh, look at that move. You can't take the rook. The queen is pinned. He goes knight f6 and he's...
Yes. He goes rook b3, and that rook you can see at the speed at which Vidit is playing.
D3? Is he going to play d3?
Played.
And that's it. You take queen, take pawn. The bishop is hanging.
I just want to adjust that rook on b3 there. Panya,
Your
because-
OCD is kicking in.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it's actually quite annoying when your opponent places a piece like in the middle of 2 squares.
Yeah. I would just do it myself. I would just adjust
Oh,
it
and you
myself.
see that Hans reaches out for the queen. It's the d pawn.
Okay, what do we do? What do we do? Just play anything. Queen d6 is also winning. Queen c5 is winning. Gives a check on b7. Is b4 hanging? Wait, was that a blunder?
It was a blunder. And that's it. Just like that, Vidit is back in the game, Sahaj.
Wow.
And now defending, this is what happens when it's blitz. You know, we heard our feature chat say it is pure chaos. King e2 coming in now to lock down the pawn on d2.
Wait, this is with its second gift, yeah? Against Wesley also it was that mate in one, and now Hans blundering a whole piece.
And Hans played it so well until he allowed that check with the double attack.
Wow, rook d3. And now Vidit is the one pushing in this endgame.
But it's 3 versus 2, and I have to say, with knight and bishop, this should be holdable. Black's king super active, cannot be driven back from the dark square. I think Hans holds this one. Sahaj.
Oh, absolutely. I think the likely result is a draw. Meanwhile, Arjun Erigaisi has just taken down Wei Yi with the black pieces.
What a
He
result.
is one of the co-leaders alongside Nihal with full score 2 out of 2. And Vidit is trying to defeat Hans here. Looking difficult.
What a turnaround this has been, and I want to point out, if the bishop and the knights get traded off, that's a winning king pawn ending. So Vidit will try to dominate white's knight.
Oh yes, for sure. He goes bishop e4, brings the knight to d6. I think Vidit will try to win because he has no risk in this position whatsoever.
But how do you make progress? Because every pawn move comes with a trade. He's trying to get his king closer towards the h pawn.
He wants to bring king h5, yeah, basically at some point, but that's not possible.
Hans always has this check on f6, and look at the way he's now boxed up white's king.
This must be so annoying for Hans as well because, you know, just a few moments ago he was completely winning.
But he looks like he's confident to hold this one. He's not panicking, he's not fidgety. It's like he's found a good structure, he's playing confidently, he's playing fast.
Wow. So just a fortress on the board. At some point, I believe Vidit is going to play f4 and played actually.
You have to make progress somewhere. Vidit tried everything from the left side, the right side, shuffling the king, shuffling the bishop. It was time to change the nature of the position. But that means you're closer towards that draw with a set of pawns being traded off.
Oh yes, and you know what Hans is trying to do? He's going to sacrifice that knight for the pawn and put his king to h8 because that's a theoretical draw.
Exactly, the h pawn that Vidit has, it's the wrong color of his bishop. Hans's king is headed towards that square. And it's all about, and that's what he's setting up. Knight takes pawn would be a draw. Vidit allows it. Hans says, I'm ready for this. He'll push his h pawn. He'll say, come and take that. Put his king on h8. And that, my friends, is handshakes.
Yep, I think this is another draw incoming.
Very confident hold there by Hans after slipping that win. And Vidit gives the eye contact, And with that, smiles. What an up and down game. But that is how Blitz goes. There's Murzin versus Wesley still on. I can see them on the camera right there, Sahaj. And this is where we are at. Again, a 3 versus 2, but there's an extra knight for Wesley.
Why is this not completely winning for Wesley? That's my question.
It is completely winning for Wesley.
It is, right? Okay, so King G6 he goes. Basically, he should just try to exchange the G pawn somehow. So Rook D3 would be a nice move. But Murzin is keeping... Wait, are we going to see a Rook Knight versus Rook, Tanya?
You need another trade for that. And I'm pretty sure if H4 happens, Murzin will... Wesley even will go G4. He will not trade that last pair of pawns.
They're playing on seconds. Gives a check on A6. King F7 happens.
And look at that. Now you've got this trouble of the G3 pawn. Wesley needs to survive the checks first. He blocks it with his rook. Both players playing on seconds. Oh, panic there. Hesitation. Brings the rook back.
Goes Rook A2.
Vidit and Hans watching over.
Not... we can see even Rakesh by watching in the back as well.
Rakesh Bhai looking for content.
This is a very interesting position. As soon as the G-pawn is exchanged, I still think Wesley is going to try to play for a win. Right now, he's trying to find a formation. And there it is. H4 is played. Oh, but G4. Did he miss that? Did he miss G4? Because now Rook G4 was not possible because of that check on E3. Lost on time.
And just like that, for Murzin, after 3 out of 3 on the last day of Rapid, just when it looked like he's found his momentum, an unfortunate loss here, losing on time. Wesley gets that win. Saj, we actually saw a stalemate happen on the Hans Vidit board. We saw Nihal crashing through in his win against Vishy. What a crazy start this has been to the Blitz.
I mean, I think when it comes to Blitz, you expect chaos and the players are doing exactly what we expect in that sense. I mean, Nihal having that miniature against Vishy and then Arjun taking down Wei Yi with the black pieces was phenomenal.
And we'll also just quickly remind everyone of the results of round 2 of women there. Sahaj, there were 4 decisive games. 4 decisive games and only 1 draw. We saw Nana Dzagnidze. If we can have our standings on the screen.
And there we have it. On the open section, Arjun, the sole leader with 2 out of 2, and then Carissa Yip on 2 out of 2 as well. Tanya, we already have a sole leader. I was not expecting it so early.
And it's Carissa. She was leading for the most part of the Rapid as well. So definitely quite a force when it comes to speed chess. And there we've got Vantika. She is sole second with 1.5. And then a bunch of players at 1 point. And Kateryna Lagno struggling surprisingly.
Did not expect that, but it's a long event. We
It
have
is.
16 more rounds to go. Lagno has all the time in the world to make a comeback, and I'm sure she will at some point. But right now, yes, it is a bit surprising to see her at second last position.
Saj, is there a game that catches your attention that we quickly go through?
Nihal versus Vishy. We have to, I think, right?
We saw so much of that already. You want to see it again just because of how beautiful it was.
It was 21 move game, Bishop F4. I think that was a beautiful game by Nihal. I mean, him being the winner in the rapid section and taking down Vishy in this fashion is always a treat to watch.
We'll see this one. Chad, I'll ask you this question from our women's section. Is there a game that we perhaps missed because there's so much action in Blitz that you would like us to go through right now? Send it to us on chat. We'll first have a look at this and then we'll move to that. So Nihal started with E4. We saw knight to C3 come out and it sort of converted into an Italian, but with the knight on C3 already. And with that, Vishy, he's eyeing the center, maybe hopefully getting D5 in one day. H3 stopping bishop G4. Vishy expands on the queen side. A threat of trapping that bishop. Stopped by white. Vishy pushed the knight away. Knight comes to D7. And white is eyeing the F5 square here.
And this is where the firework begins after bishop b6, c3. We thought this is a normal position, but Nihal had other plans. He goes rook e1, and then black plays rook e8 here. And then we have bishop g5, pinning that pawn on d5. And after queen c7, Tanya, take it away. I just want to hear your commentary here.
Huge threat of D5. And this is when all hell broke loose in Kolkata because after Queen C7, and this shows just incredible tactical awareness by Nihal, full tension. It's a 4-pawn square off here, and things started to get wild. Pawn takes pawn, and Nihal doesn't even think about recapturing. He goes E5 in this position, and one might think that you can capture this pawn on E5, but that would have resulted in disaster. After bishop takes knight, pawn takes knight, you can simply recapture, plant your knight on H5. The queen will slide over. This is just moves away from being game over. After E5, Vishy planted his knight to the center of the board, and I think this move was missed by Vishy, found by Nihal, and it's game over. It's a quiet retreating move after the trade, but look at this. The knight hanging gets awarded the brilliancy, and the whole point is that after pawn takes knight, Sahaj E6 wins on the spot. You hit the queen, queen takes bishop, pawn takes pawn is not just a check. You're losing the rook. Either ways, queen takes pawn. You don't even need to rush through with picking up the queen. Rook takes rook, knight f8, and this would have been game over.
And now Queen f3.
Oh, you don't want to... Yes, that's just...
Now
beautiful.
Queen f3 because we're going for the checkmate here. I don't know if it's working, but it just looks very nice.
Beautiful stuff. You know, I'll finish the line for you. So after bishop e6, bishop takes bishop, rook takes rook, queen takes queen, king h8, queen g8. Stunning stuff there. Bishop f4 was met by queen to a7, and Nihal just keeps adding firepower to the attack. Attacking f7 now, and then rook takes pawn. Too many threats. Game over. Knight is hanging, f7's hanging, queen h5 coming in, and Vishy resigned.
Wow, looks amazing, amazing, amazing. And he had an accuracy of 99%.
99%. Oh, that is insane. A 21 move win, a 99% accuracy. Sahaj, I believe we have just a couple more minutes. I'm not even sure if we have enough time, but is there a game from the women's section that catches your attention?
From the women's section,
Actually, you know what? Hold that thought. Because look at what's happening on our screens right now. The players are ready to go. Action's about to start any moment. So we will stick with live scenes coming in.
we have Lagno versus Divya. That's going to be a fun one.
That's a marquee matchup. I think we start there, Sahaj. We
Let's do
start
it.
with that one.
So Divya having 1 out of 2, Lagno having half. Lagno's looking to make that comeback, and Divya as well with the white pieces looking to take down the World Blitz champion. What's gonna happen here? What's your prediction here, Tanya? Win, draw, or loss?
I think Divya is in form. And you know what? She found her momentum on the last day of Tata Steel Rapid. She finished third at the top. I mean, she's had a podium finish there after a very rough start here of the first 2 days. And I think momentum is key when it comes to faster formats. Lagno, meanwhile, half out of 2, clearly hasn't found her rhythm. If Divya has to strike, it has to be now against Lagno.
Because if you take down the favorite, then already you feel more confident, you feel more in rhythm. This is a very, very important match for Divya because next time she plays her, she'll be having the black pieces, and that's will be a bit more challenging.
And while we'll keep our eye out on this one, I'll tell everyone that in the Open, there's Arjun versus Vishy, which will be our other big marquee matchup. Sahaj, I can see your reaction on that. You are thrilled to see that happen.
Of course, Vishy versus Arjun is always a treat to watch. Would love to check that out as well. And then we have Nihal playing Wesley. By the way, we do have handshakes. Divya goes for D4, Knight F6 and G3. Interesting. Some new developments in the opening by Divya there. Have not seen her play this before. Okay, just transpose into Catalan. No, she doesn't go for C4. She plays B3.
Oh, so she just wants a game. Divya saying, I just want to fight. I'm not going to go into any mainline theory. I'll tell you one of the biggest strengths of Kateryna Lagno, having played against her in individual and team events as well, that she's a very principled, setup, plan-oriented player. So her theory, her preparation is very classical, her style. So if Divya is able to get her kind of positions which are attacking and aggressive, she will have her chances. Somewhere Lagno, I think when it comes to tactical, aggressive play, that is not where she feels most comfortable.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, she has those double fian shuttles as well to have a longer game in this sense. I think it looks like she can put some pressure here on the d5 pawn. But Tanya, does knight takes f2 fall into anything?
Right. Queen takes pawn looks like it's a free pawn, but I think your tactic, spidey senses are on point here. Knight takes f2, king takes knight chart is a checkmate in one, and rook takes knight. After, you could also throw in a rook sliding over, but queen takes pawn actually gives black the advantage in this position. So queen takes pawn would be a big mistake. Divya continues with development. Sahaj with the bishop's fan chat out, this being a long grind. Let's move back to our open section. I want to go over.
By the way, it is Arjun versus Nihal. Arjun plays Vishy in the next round. So that's also a very, very important match there between these two. I don't even want to call them youngsters, but these two legends. Arjun versus Nihal. Arjun being the sole leader and Nihal just having that insane match against Vishy, being the winner of the rapid section as well.
It almost feels like the stars are shining for Nihal here in Kolkata, from being invited, from winning the rapid, the way he did it, and now starting with 1.5 out of 2, but having that win against Vishy in the previous round. Can Arjun Nihal even keep the momentum? But Arjun 2 out of 2.
Yes, but with Nihal, I think for both of these players, I don't know who is the favorite. Although I do feel that Arjun in this opening feels like has a slightly upper hand due to that isolated pawn on d5. But okay, it's Blitz. Like strategic problems are not really problems in Blitz. You just play, yeah.
And this last move of the knight retreat actually eyes it. Bishop takes knight would take away a key defender. If you recapture with the queen, you win d5. If you recapture with the pawn, you don't win d5 because of discovered ideas, but you destroy the pawn formation. So choice to be made. And the point is, if you go bishop to e6, I think then Arjun can start thinking about planting the knight on c5, eyeing the b7 spot.
Great find there. But if you don't play bishop e6, what do you even play in this position? Perhaps queen e7? And look at the time difference between Nihal and Arjun, by the way. It's more than a minute that Nihal is thinking. What is he calculating? Must be something tactical here. Otherwise, he wouldn't.
He's taking a long think here. Too long for Nihal. He's thinking about... What is he thinking about? Knight f3. Okay, while he takes this moment to decide the path he wants to go to, says, let's check in with the All-Indian clash. Pragg versus Vidit. The other one happening right here. Pragg with the white pieces has already planted a pawn on f5 and is also looking at we'll also switch our cameras. g4, g5 is the idea that Pragg wants.
Yes, so he's going queen b6 and that was a slight inaccuracy from Vidit, and now g4, g5 looks very, very tempting from Pragg's perspective. He goes queen f3 and now g4 and g5 looks very, very interesting there. We'll have the...
Alright, let's please have the boards back. It's fine if we don't have the cameras. Let's go to Arjun and Nihal. We had that on the screen. This is the live position right now. Queen e7. So Nihal did put the bishop on e6 and we got the moves coming in. Arjun planted the queen on d4, basically saying this knight is not moving from here with g7 under fire, so no knight e4. And now he plants the knight on c5, trying to win the bishop pair.
But Tanya, the time, Nihal's time, he has less than a minute on the clock and Arjun having, 50 seconds more? That's not good.
And while we fix the cameras, maybe we can just change the scene to our board being bigger there as we do get... And there it is. We are back, chat. Look at the hall, Sahaj. Look at the amount of people in Kolkata who've shown up for the stars here on a Saturday.
Amazing, amazing. Completely full auditorium there. Love to see it. Queen f7, Nihal plays to defend that knight on g6. And now, can we double up on that open file with rook c2, rook c1?
Rook c2, rook c1 would be a very healthy way to approach the position. First, Arjun places the knight on d4. Let's check in with Divya's game against Kateryna, as this one really gets incredibly fiery right now. Divya with the white pieces has just vacated an f5 square for her knight, as we will bring our cameras over to the women's section.
I believe Divya has just taken on f6 and wow, that was a mistake from Divya. And with this move, bishop takes g3, Lagno has completely taken over with the black pieces. Lagno is looking to score her first win against Divya here.
And the game that we have is not from Arjun versus Nihal. We have them on our camera, but we will have, let's go back to that game as we try to fix this. But right now, a huge turnaround by Lagno.
And this is the position between Arjun and Nihal. And now knight f5 was played here. Black goes, knight takes f5. Most likely, what else would you play here in this position? White will go queen takes f5. And now look at that, Nihal having 14 seconds on the clock.
Let's get the players on our screen. Queen to e7 has been played right now. He's playing on seconds. He improves. It's a bishop pair for white. He wants to put the rook on d1 and start putting pressure on that central d pawn.
Absolutely. And now rook f8 he goes. Nihal has 10 seconds. It would be really nice to have the players on camera as he goes king h8. A nice prophylactic move. White goes rook fd1.
But Sehaj, has he played rook fd1? He hasn't played it yet.
He has not played it yet.
You have to be careful about knight jumps with the rook lined up against the queen.
There it is. There it is. That's the position. Look at that. Nihal having 7 seconds on the clock.
Oh my god. Now this is more about the clock than the position itself. But you know, for Nihal Sarin, 7 seconds is an eternity. He is called the bullet beast for a reason.
Oh yes, for sure. But he's also playing against Arjun. I mean, both of these players are just known for their fast chess and
like
overall
Arjun's
chess.
position though. You know, at d4, the d pawn started moving ahead now.
Oh,
Arjun
yes.
is seizing the advantage here. The bishop lined up beautifully.
Nana, I'll tell you, I feel like all three results are still possible in this game. I feel that anyone can still take this. Although I do understand that objectively, Arjun having that d4 weakness is really important. But this is Nihal. He's extremely tricky in faster formats.
And look at how he's done it. He just maneuvered his queen to offer a trade. And these are the difficult decisions when you've got no seconds. You keep the queens on or off. He forces Arjun to think.
Goes b4 and now he's forcing him to take on b2. He does not do it and he takes the queen on c3.
It's dangerous. The c pawn so close to queening.
So many trades happening. Are we going to see a healthy draw here? No, he says no. No more rook trades.
I think Arjun's pushing for the win. He wants to plant the rook well. Okay, or get the king closer to the pawn and start winning the c pawn. But Nihal's coming for the a3 pawn.
I think he is going to take that pawn on a3 in the next move. And white goes rook takes c2. Rook b3 perhaps is a good move to take that pawn on b4. Arjun will still try to play for a win here, but not enough venom in the position. I feel this is again going towards a draw. But Nihal having 5 seconds.
It's 3 versus 2 is what it's going to be as the b5 pawn. Don't take it just yet. Nice c3 check was a big threat.
Nicely spotted there. Rook b2 played. Rooks belong on the 7th rank.
b4. Don't support the f pawn. Fight against the fork.
And I have a question. Who is playing for a win here?
Both of them are. Knowing both of these players, I think no matter what the position is, they're always playing for the win. We're not going to see any kind of repetition. And look at that. Now that the b5 pawn, this is a 2 versus 2. We might see a draw offer. Or is Arjun still ambitious? That knight, you know,
Arjun,
it looks like it's almost trapped. The knight is trapped. It's not almost trapped. It is trapped on e1.
Wow, that is sad. And now rook b1 and rook take. Oh wow, bishop g6. Ugh.
It's a checkmating idea. And Arjun is playing for the win here right now. Rook b8, a huge threat. He's about to give checkmate or win the knight. Knight f3, rook e8, checkmate. You can't land on f3 and g2, the knight remains trapped.
Just look at the precision at which Nihal is playing. He's defending so well.
But Arjun putting pressure so well as well. That knight, is it gone? It's gone. The knight is gone.
But is this endgame a draw or no? Is this a theoretical draw or no? Probably not, yeah?
The rooks are on the board. So it's very difficult to say. I would say it's not a draw with the rooks on the board. If the rooks get traded off, I believe that's a draw.
Yes, that is indeed a draw. But I'm trying to think, how is he going to break through in this position? He's going to put his king on g6 somehow and take the g7 pawn.
You can trade rooks as well here, if you're white. Because force black to push... Actually, that's tricky.
Ah, that's what he does. That's what he does. He did it.
He did it, but I'm just wondering, because if he blocks the g-pawn from moving forward...
He's going to go king d7, king e7, move the bishop away and then king f7, stalemate. Make black play g5 and then en passant.
And then you're pushing the h-pawn forward and that's game over. So you'll force black to go g5 and he does it. Now all Arjun has to do is bring the king back, use the bishop to defend the pawn, and Nihal knows it. Arjun getting the win on that. What a way to convert an endgame that he did. Squeezed water out of stone in this one. And Arjun Erigaisi is on 3 out of 3.
Can I make another crazy stat here? Arjun is not just on 3 out of 3. He is a 1.5 point ahead of everybody else.
How? That is a massive lead going into round 4. Saj, that's insane. That after Arjun, every other player is only on 1.5. But let's bring up the results that we've had in. Alright, these are the standings. We'll maybe even get the results on our screen. And this is where we are. As you said, 3 out of 3, and everybody else at 1.5. And then in the women, we've got Carissa Yip at 3, and also a 1 point difference there. It's too early for a player to start running away.
I think in Blitz, probably this makes a lot of sense to have, a lot of decisive games. And for Carissa Yip and Arjun Erigaisi, this is working in their favor as both of them have a sizable lead already going into round 4.
This is where we stand, and it's just the start of the day, but we've got two players at the top with 100% currently. It's Arjun Erigaisi and Carissa Yip. Let's bring up our pairings for the next round, Sahaj, and we've got a couple of minutes before we start, so maybe there's a game that you'd like to show us while we go through these pairings.
Tanya, I'll let you pick.
Alright, I'll have a pick, but first I want to point out that this is the action coming up, and this is a round we mistakenly said last time, but I think Arjun versus Vishy, with Arjun on 3 out of 3, and well, it's Vishy playing with the white pieces. Will he be the one to put a stop to Arjun's hot streak?
I just on the streak that Arjun has had, and I watched him in the World Blitz as well. We commentated on that event as well, and the way that Arjun just took over was very, very, very scary. So I think Arjun is on a roll right now. He started off well. I think he is on track. I am taking Arjun in this match, and let's have the women pairings as well in this match. And there we have it. I think the main matchup is, of course, Carissa Yip, who's on 3 out of 3, playing against the underdog Carissa Yip, but do not count her out because she has defeated Lagno in the first round with the black pieces, and she is super ambitious. And then we have Goryachkina playing against Divya as well. We have Lagno playing against Harika as well. So many nice matchups incoming. But before we jump to the games, let's have one game review. Tanya, which game appealed to you the most in this match? And chat, if you have a suggestion, do let us know.
Well, I think we've spoken about Vishy versus Arjun as being our marquee matchup in the opening. We saw how Arjun dismantled Nihal in that end game, how he outclassed him with that strong bishop against the knight, trapping, winning a piece, and then flawlessly converting it. Let's see how Vishy did the same against Aravindh Chithambaram, because in that, it was Vishy's knight at the end that proved to be stronger than Arvind's, and I think Vishy, with this win, is making a strong case for the upcoming round.
Ooh, let's see. Let's have the game on the board. Vishy has just been going e4 best by test. He goes for the Sicilian, and after knight f6, knight c3, we have the classical Sicilian. I think Arvind has sort of employed this opening before as well. Bishop g5, and he plays. Wait, what is a6 here, Tanya? I've seen a6 before knight c6. I've seen a6 after g6. It's called the Dragodov. What is this, classical Dov? I don't think I've heard this before, but what an interesting opening that Arvind has employed, and it did not work out well for him, but props to him for trying it out in the blitz section as he goes queen d2, e6. Oh, it just transposed, takes the knight on c6, and then he goes long castle. Very typical idea, because you want to put the bishop on c4 and then put it on b3 and defend on the queen side along the b file. He takes the knight on f6, gf6 happens, bishop c4, very typical. He develops the bishop, develops the rook, queen comes out to a5, king b1, very nice prophylactic move in Sicilian positions as he goes bishop b3, king b8, f4, pushing the golden pawn, but for attacking purposes, so we approve. Arvind breaks the center with d5, he goes queen f2, sidestepping from that x-ray, he goes bishop b4, f5, and the idea is, of course, to take on e6 and take the pawn on f6 as well. Arvind says, no, I will not let you take, and he goes rook e2, and right now I think Arvind already looks pretty promising, ahead on the position, ahead on the clock as well. Very interesting to see how this position does not work for him. He goes rook d7, goes knight a4. First mistake, by the way, by Arvind there. Doubles up on the d file, makes a lot of sense practically speaking. Vishy now tries to take over with queen b6. going into the endgame. He goes queen b5, was a slight mistake, but not a very big one. Queen takes b6 was also possible, but he says no, if we must trade on my terms. And Vishy says, okay, let's play c4. Pawn takes c4, and look at this. He takes the rook on d8 and goes for this first imbalance with queen and 2 rooks incoming, and this is where Arvind made a mistake with king a7. He takes the rook on f8. Knight c3 was basically winning for him. Takes on b3, and this is the knight you were talking about, Tanya, the knight that saved the day for Vishy. And both players playing on seconds here. Gives a check, defends it, and now puts the rook on the 7th rank. Takes the pawn on f7. King b6, rook f6. Gives a check. Still, wow, look at that king march coming on to d4, and still Arvind is not lost here. He can still, bounce back, but here he had to find king c5, and he does not. He goes bishop c2, takes the pawn on c6, queen f2 happens, pushes the pawn, h5, gives a check, and very soon, wait. Did Arvind refuse a repetition here?
That's exactly what happened, because he could have come back to d4. He could have even maybe claimed it.
So let me just do a quick. This was the first time it happened once. Okay, no, it was rook e6. This is once. This position already happened twice.
And rook e6, king d4 would have been the second time, but he didn't even try it. He just simply said, I want to play for more, and makes a mistake. Although I have a feeling Vishy would have continued.
I think Vishy would have
I
continued.
think Vishy,
well.
this position, your king is totally safe. It's 2 rooks versus queen. I think Vishy was just gaining time on the clock at that point.
Exactly. It's a very nice tactic, and when you have less time on the clock, you try to repeat moves, gain some time, and I think Vishy would have played as well. But this is the final position, double rooks, and that king on c4 looking super exposed, and Vishy, oh wow, Arvind just blundered in the final moments with king c5 and allowing the spin alongside the queen and the king, rook f5, and then Vishy wins the game. And I think this is his first win of today. He's on 50%, 1.5 out of 3. So he's basically tied for the second place. Arjun right now taking it away. And now we have Vishy versus Arjun incoming, Tanya.
What a clash that one's going to be. Let's have our pairings up one more time. I also hear that there was a little bit of a drama on the Harika Vantika board as well. In a position that was balanced, Harika offered a draw. But apparently she offered it with her time still running. And by the time Vantika accepted it, her flag fell. But it was agreed for a draw because Vantika had accepted it.
Oh,
So
okay.
there was a little confusion there, but all good. That game ended in a draw finally, and this one, it's crazy, with Blitz, just so much happens, and full respect to the arbiters who really need to be on their A game. Every single board has its own arbiter.
Absolutely. I think this is a very interesting situation. I actually heard a similar story once that a player offered a draw and the other player lost on time, just as we mentioned here, and both players wrote a different result on their score sheet.
Oh, wow.
This actually happened, and I was playing in that event as well. It was very interesting to see, but of course the game was ended in a draw because the player had already accepted it. But because when you offer the draw, until you have accepted it, you still have the chance to accept it, right? So
You want to hear something crazy? With Arjun's 3 out of 3, as he's about to face the 5-time world champion, it's go time, A3 ceremonial team. Move will not happen. Arjun is currently top 5 in all 3 formats of the game.
top 5 now.
Top 5. He started the tournament in top 10 in all 3 formats. He's top 5 in rapid, blitz, and classical. The
Wow.
only player in the world.
Wow. Huge. This is huge. Huge if true. But we do have the moves incoming with e4, e5, and the
The
Spanish.
only player from India. Because
Yes,
there's a
of
certain
course.
Magnus Carlsen.
There's always a certain Magnus Carlsen. Wait. One second.
There was a
No ways.
yes.
What is
yes
this?
ways.
What is this?
It wasn't a mouse slip. It wasn't a hand slip. He didn't mean to put the knight there. The queen comes out. This is some crazy Arjun theory, special blitz preparation.
Guys, you saw that, right? The queen came out. I thought it was a knight to f6 and some transmission error there, but queen to what? How does he even think of these things? That's my question.
It's amazing. But Arjun is the king of these offbeat openings and what we call as special openings for faster formats, right?
But that's not an opening. I don't
It's
think
the
I've-
Arjun opening.
It's called the Arjun defense, yeah? Arjun attack.
Yeah, there's no such thing as the Arjun defense.
Absolutely, there's no defense when Arjun plays, and Vishy responding pretty quickly so far. He's still having almost the same amount of time that he started off with. Arjun having about 20 seconds less in comparison. Goes bishop d8, defends the pawn on c7, and keeps his double bishop advantage. And now Vishy goes knight e3, retracts the knight, attacks the other bishop, and Arjun says, "No, I am not in the mood to give any of my bishops." And I feel, even though Arjun had this crazy queen f6 idea, we are still in very much traditional Spanish territory. What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you. And this last move, it actually hints after king h8, you are eyeing even potentially Arjun's favorite plan. Do you remember? Put the rook to g8, far away in the future, go g5, g4.
I'm so glad you didn't say f5.
It's coming. Queen has moved to h8.
Oh, wow, you were right.
Well, maybe f5 is in the cards as well this time.
No, the golden pawn. Absolutely not. No f5.
Oh, he starts with
Oh,
g6.
no.
He's preparing f5 though.
He's
He's preparing.
preparing.
It's coming in. And we keep an eye on our... By the way, yeah, it's all equal right now. When we have a huge bar shift, Sahaj, we'll move to that. But until then, let's stick here.
Absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense. Arjun being the tournament leader, he goes f5. He's trying to score his 4th win. And he is on track for that. He's already slightly better against Vishy here with the black pieces. Do you think Arjun takes this, Tanya? What's
It's
your gut
too
feeling?
early. It's too early to say. I actually really like how quickly Vishy has managed to get counterplay on the left flank as well. He's gone c5, b7 is attacked. This is going to be a fun battle. It's already got all the makings of a race. Is it going to be Vishy's queen side chomping up of all the pawns, or will Arjun get to Vishy's king first? Somehow dealing with kingside attacks, they're always scarier.
Yes, and especially when Arjun is sitting next to, across you, it's definitely a lot scarier then. I'm still trying to process this whole queen f6. The first thing I'm gonna do when I go back to the hotel is check out this queen f6 stuff. This looks absolutely crazy.
Chat, I'll tell you, that is such a grandmaster classical thing to do. They see something crazy happen on the board, and no matter if it's been 5 hours, 6 hours of commentary watching chess, the first thing to be done is check out queen f6.
Wait, how many times do you see a move that you have never even thought about? That's the 3rd move in chess. That is so crazy. This is why I love Arjun's, chess. I love his style so much, because he comes up with these such creative ideas and keeps things entertaining for everyone here. Plays f4. Now, provoking knight d5 or knight c4. And Tanya, my move, your move with f5 actually happened, but your move with g5 might also happen, and it just happened on the board.
It has to. I mean, that pawn is on f4, g5, and we live, and that's going to be g4 next. You've got f4, g4 coming in, g3 coming in, queen lined up already, and the attack really starts looking very scary. And the thing is, with 2 minutes on the clock, it becomes even more terrifying.
It looks so terrifying because now g4, g3, this king is not placed perfectly because g3 is going to be a pin. Now the question is, does he take with the bishop or the pawn? I think he's going to take with the pawn. You know why? Because Arjun, he's thinking to himself, that's another imbalance. Oh no, he goes bishop c6.
He keeps the pawn structure healthy. He goes bishop c6. He's also eyeing potentially someday maybe breaking in the center with d5 at the right moment. Vishy comes back with that knight. Is it time to go? He brings the queen. He was eyeing d5, Sahaj. Pawn takes pawn. I think d5 will happen. He's defended that e5 pawn. Arjun just wants to break the entire game. He really is a beast.
Oh yes, and by the way, f3 played. You know why this is a bad move, Tanya?
The golden pawn.
We just say it too often. I feel way too often.
Is there a we in this, Sahaj? Do we say it too often?
I thought this was a team thing. Yeah, I feel like we both see it, by ourselves. Every time we push the f pawn, it's somehow a mistake, and I think something should be done about that.
Alright, well, right now Vishy needs to do something about the knight, which is under attack, and not so many happy squares. d2 is the only one. Vishy's looking for tactics as the bishop on c6 also hangs, and he does go for tactics. Knight a5, bishop takes knight will be met by rook takes bishop.
And now bishop a8 perhaps could be a nice move to keep his double bishop advantage.
Sahaj, maybe just a quick jump over to the Wesley Nihal board. Wesley has set up a checkmate in one, and it's quite an insane position that we have there as well. Right now, Nihal under pressure. Queen takes h2 was a big threat. Comes back with a knight. There was a double attack. Picks up the bishop. There's a knight on a2. Right now, believe it or not, material balance. But what about queen takes a3? Queen a1, Sahaj.
Wow.
Queen takes knight is an extra piece, but Nihal has calculated Queen A1.
Wait, don't I have Queen C5 back there? So Queen F3, Queen A1, I have D4. Only move in the position. Very important. But he doesn't go for it. He plays Knight C3.
Both players calculating. Wesley keeps maximum pressure. He's relying on that A pawn. Watch that pawn at the edge of the board. That A pawn will start playing a big role very soon in this game.
Oh yes, and this is perhaps the reason why the bar is favoring Wesley in this position, because you have an outside passer. This pawn cannot be stopped. This is a passer as well, but this is an easier target, or this is something that is much easier to get to in comparison to the A pawn. So slight problem for Nihal here.
I think Nihal is under big pressure in this one, in the position. Let's head back to Vishy versus Arjun. Once again, Vishy's up on the clock, but it is a very difficult attack to handle right now. But Vishy has made inroads on the left side of the board. The rook's now doubled up. Rook C8 always a threat. It feels like Arjun's attack has lost a bit of the firepower.
But somehow he's still better, yeah.
Oh wow, and that was a big mistake by Vishy. He captured with the wrong pawn. Nihal setting up Queen G6, Queen G1 checkmate.
Also Bishop A7 to G1. But yeah, Queen G6, Queen G1 is prettier actually in comparison.
Yeah. He's going to place that bishop on the diagonal. No, he doesn't. He puts the queen. What a move! Is this just game over? What? Okay, this is the move of the tournament, chat. It's a double attack and it forces Vishy to resign. A move that was missed. Hits the rook on A6, hits the rook on C1. Sahaj, rook takes queen would have ended with rook to G1. What a beautiful move. Queen to C8 to finish the game.
Oof, I'm feeling the heat from the commentary room with that move, Queen C8. What a beautiful move that is by Arjun, showing that he's the boss when it comes to Blitz. Wow, 4 out of 4 and Queen sacrifice to end of the day. What a win.
Amazing. Let's head back to Nihal versus Wesley. It's 4 out of 4 and the scoreline is one thing, but to win with Queen C8 is a whole different one.
Queen C8. I mean, I'm at a loss of words. Wow, what a move it was. And to spot that in a Blitz match is insane.
Just shows the tactical awareness, how sharp Arjun is, and that's why pawn takes pawn was the mistake by Vishy. He had to keep the G line blocked. Alright, coming back to the action that we have in front of us, Sahaj, it's an extra pawn for Nihal. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not an extra pawn, it's an extra pawn for Wesley even.
Yes, I'm just getting the game back up there. This is the game. Wesley, 2 pawns up now for Wesley as he gives knight f5 check. He's hoping for some tactical ideas, but he goes knight g4.
Absolute chaos on the board. Check given, rook blocks it. The queen coming in. And is this going to be a repetition? No, there's a trade. There's 2 connected passes. The endgame should be completely winning for Wesley.
Thanks to these 2 connected pawns, he plays b5, he's going to put the rook on b6 and start marching down these pawns. And the rook cannot stop the connected pawns alone for sure. So, and there it is. Nihal resigns and Wesley advances to 2.5 out of 4. Good win with the black pieces.
And that's 2 back-to-back losses for Nihal. Vidit versus Arvind is still on. Let's rush over to that. Arvind playing down to his final seconds. He just lost a game to Vishy. Vidit, I think Arvind's about to make his comeback win in this one. Look at those 2 pawns rolling up the board.
It's somehow winning for White, but I'm just worried that Arvind might get checkmated here. Wait. That's a checkmate. Look at that. Rook e5, king f6, and he lost on time, but that was a checkmate on c5, which was unavoidable. The king was far too exposed, and look at that reaction by Arvind. He cannot believe that he missed this.
And with that, Vidit gets a win. Let's head over to our women's section, Carissa versus Rakshita. I think that reaction really, and that's the last game that just got over. Handshakes there with Carissa Yip taking the win. Carissa and Arjun on absolute fire there right now. Carissa leading her field. Arjun leading his field with massive point differences there. There we have our rankings. And I think you spoke about Arvind's reaction. Saj, the Rapid was a very, very tough event for Arvind. He finished at the bottom of it. And then losing to Vishy from a position where he should have kept it in control. And then this one, a completely winning position and getting the king checkmated at the center. The nightmare continues for Arvind here.
Yeah, absolutely. But okay, in Blitz, these things happen because you have to rely on your intuition. And sometimes you cannot calculate your way out of it. So in Blitz, this happens. We just have to accept it and move on and play our best chess here. But wow, looking at those standings, 2 players, 4 out of 4. Arjun having still a 1.5 point lead above everybody else, and Carissa Yip enjoying that 1 point lead over Vantika Agrawal, and that's it.
Oof. I mean, 4 out of 4. 4 out of 4. It's just insane. I mean, 100% score in this field, undefeated, both the leaders are. They're not running, they're sprinting towards this Blitz title right now. Arjun looking like he's in beast mode. Carissa doing the same. Saj, I think there are 2 moments that I really want to look at before we go into the next round. And I think we've got a couple of minutes before that starts. First, I think I want to look at the game Harika versus Lagno. Harika getting a win against Lagno, who is one of the big favorites in this one, but is struggling. And I think for Harika, a much needed win. And look at this final position.
Wow. By the way, there was a brilliancy. Let's actually do a quick action
Take
replay.
it from the top.
Oh, you want to do it from the top? Okay, by the way, she goes e4, g6. Yeah, I'm seeing Harika has been playing this quite a lot recently. This modern, I think this is an opening you try to play for a win. She goes h4, h5, takes the knight on h3, and now you have a very sort of an imbalanced position. Black attacks on the queen side, white tries to keep the tension in the center. He goes king b1, queen c7 happens, bishop to g5. And now knight b6. Harika trying to put some pressure on the queen side there. White plays e5. You take that pawn, taking it back. Knight fd5, takes and takes. And so far, things are looking good for Lagno here. She plays e6, trying to put some pressure on the center as black has not castled yet. She goes f5, beautiful move. And now g4. You know, optically this move looks beautiful, but Harika shows why this is a huge mistake with queen e5 attacking with that mate in 1. And as soon as Lagno defends it, boom, b4. Now b takes c3 is a threat, and once again b2 pawn is a target in this position, and she goes f4, queen d6, and white plays c4, and guess what Harika plays here, Tanya? The beautiful brilliancy here.
Oh, it has to be the knight coming in with a check.
Absolutely, knight c3 check. You cannot capture this because pawn takes, and hello, this is another check, and you are losing your queen in the next move. So of course Lagno cannot capture it, and she has to accept that the rook on d1 is going to fall, which it does. And after she captures back, she says, okay, now I'll take this pawn on g4. Now it looks safe to me. White goes rook h2, rook d8, and now black plays queen d4, and Lagno resigns. And you know, first of all, this game was 25 moves long, and secondly, Harika did not castle at all.
She didn't need to. I mean, she won the exchange here in a completely winning position. b2 is hanging. If you move the king trying to connect your queen, the bishop on d3 hangs. You can't move. You can't basically defend the b2 and the d3 bishop. This is game over. We've got round 5 coming up, but I think before that, it's the moment that we need to look at again. It's the move that we need to look at again because it's still playing in my mind. And I think you know exactly where my head's at.
Say less, because as soon as you said, I just wanted to go from
Let's go back a
from
few
the top,
moves,
yeah.
yes.
Let's go from. Actually, we looked at a lot of this game. So double bishop advantage he had. I think we covered this part quite a lot here. Goes queen h6, was trying for that g6 f5. He goes for it, and then after rook a7, defending that pawn on b7, he plays f4, pushes g5, attacks on the king side. Now it's a double bishop versus double knight position. Arjun has got the imbalance that he's looking for. Goes queen e6, takes. White plays f3, golden pawn was touched. It was a mistake. Black plays b5, and he takes on e4, takes back, bishop a5. Now he's an extra pawn up, but Vishy has some compensation for it. He might even be slightly better, but Arjun has other plans here. He goes g4, attacking that on the king side, goes bishop b8, and already he's thinking about where to put that bishop, and very soon we'll see it. Queen e8 takes here.
And this is the moment where I think Vishy had to take with the queen just to make sure that the G line was blocked. And it was still a game that would continue. White's doing well on the queen side, the knight on d5. Actually, this is everything to play for. But pawn takes pawn is the hand move that you want to make here. It's the move that you really want to get going.
I'm guessing that when Vishy took gf3, he did not consider the fact that black can play bishop a7. And this entire diagonal is so risky because you can always have rook g1 in this position.
And you know, we were only looking at ideas like bishop a7 and queen g6. But what happened next?
You know, also it's important.
It's mind-blowing.
It's important to understand why Vishy took here, because I think Vishy was thinking that if you go bishop a7 in this position, I can just take this.
Of course.
Rook a7, and then I can play knight f6 and then just take on.
And you're winning actually as white here.
Yes.
And if you don't give up that rook, you're getting checkmated. So Vishy had all the ideas of giving up the rook for the bishop. And if you go queen g6, which is the move that we were looking at, Sahaj, here, then you can simply defend everything with queen to f2.
Yes, but still it's losing,
It's
yeah?
losing, but at least it goes on. You're not losing on the spot here. But look at what Arjun found. And this is full board awareness. Absolute stunner for me, move of the tournament.
Queen c8, attacking both rooks, sacrificing the queen, but rook g1 is just a checkmate in this position. He took 5 seconds to play this move. Absolutely insane.
And you know what? If
From
you go
Arjun.
rook c6,
Oh, please. Actually,
because sacrificing the queen once is not enough.
oof.
And rook takes queen, rook g1 checkmate. What a beautiful combination of ideas this was by Arjun to find this within seconds, like you said. Incredible. And 4 out of 4 is where he's at.
He's just completely running away with it. 1.5 point lead he has over the rest of the field, and he's playing now against Arvind, who might not be in the best spirits.
And maybe, Sahaj, you know, we've got 3 minutes before the start of the next round. Let's take a look at the Carissa win, because she's also at 4 out of 4 right now. Just a 100% score by her.
This is the
We go through
game.
the game really quickly, but this is how it ended. This is just complete destruction. You're up a knight, you're up 2 pawns at the end of it.
Oh yes, and by the way, there was a brilliancy in this game. I would love to show that to everyone. She goes bishop e6, knight d5, c6, knight e3 happens, and now she retreats with the knight, bishop e6, rook e6, and she goes knight c4. And here comes the brilliancy, the only move in the position to increase your advantage with the black pieces. Black to play, chat. What do you think is the move here?
I like that question. Let's see how, we saw Arjun's masterpiece with Queen C8. Let's see how tactically sharp our chat is. But Saj, I'm afraid we'll have to rush through the moves because I can see the players. Beautiful.
That's very, very good. Knight takes c4, and I think she had an extra pawn in the entirety of this endgame.
Converted it beautifully.
And she just converted without giving any chances to her opponent, despite having less time for both of these players, as you can see from this position. Okay, some chances, but okay, she had that outside pawn on the A line, and eventually she was able to convert. And yeah, I think the next game should begin at any moment. So yeah, 4 out of 4, 2 players. I think it's safe to say who is the favorite to win this tournament. Yeah, it's already emerging as the leader. What do you think, Tanya?
Arjun's done with the bronze. He says, I have enough of those now, need a different color in that. Saj, the next round that Arjun plays, it's against Arvind. And Arvind is really struggling. Arjun, peak form. I have a feeling there's a huge chance, just given the shape and the momentum the players have right now, we might be seeing a 5er here. 5 back-to-back potential wins. Arjun starts with the white pieces as well.
If he does, then there is a very good chance that he might have a 2-point lead, which is crazy.
But I'll make the case for Arvind, if he's able to stop this hot streak that Arjun is on, he gets exactly the confidence he needs to restart his campaign here. It will completely change the dynamics there.
Oh yes, for sure. But
And
okay.
it will open up the tournament. Right now, this is a one-horse race.
I mean, to take down Arjun is just so difficult, especially when he's on a rampage. 4 out of 4. I mean, this is crazy. As we can see, the players are already ready for their match. Arvind sort of getting his thoughts together.
And I'll just get everyone up to date with the pairings there. Nihal is playing against Hans. It's Arvind versus Arjun. Vidit takes on Murzin. Vishy versus Wesley. And Wei Yi against Praggnanandhaa. It's game time, and it's the Queen's Indian defense.
Oh yes, transposed into Ragozin. Queen a4 check he goes. Knight c6, a3. A nice opening. I think usually you're trying to sacrifice a pawn here. Black goes knight e4 and takes the pawn on c3. But you can choose to not take it as well, and I believe this is what Arvind does. A smart decision, because when you're playing Blitz, you don't really want to be up in material and down when it comes to initiative. Much easier to play with initiative. So he tries to keep things balanced, solid, so he can make good moves faster.
And they're playing really quick. This is all opening theory, well-known opening theory, that knight up in the center, opening up the bishop's attack against the queen. It gives you a double pawn here, but this is double-edged, because yes, you've destroyed white's pawn structure, but now Arjun has the g file already. there's an imbalance of the minor pieces. It's exactly what Arjun thrives on.
Oh yes, and look at that. As soon as you said thrives on, he pushed the H pawn. Yeah, let's go. I mean, I understand Arjun's sort of strategy here. If wherever the king is, I'm just gonna push pawns there and just see what sticks at the end.
And usually something does stick up right there, at the end, and it's usually Arjun who's standing tall. H4 played, H5, H6 in the air. Very often in this position, White just says, my king is safest in the center. That pawn structure keeps it absolutely fine. I don't need to make a decision. It might even step up one square to allow the other rook to join the fun on the right side.
Absolutely. Double pawns are great defenders. So this is why Tanya says the king is feeling safe on the king side. There is no need to castle here. First inaccuracy, according to the bar, by Arvind here. He goes H6. Tanya, this feels logical to me. Why is this a mistake?
And Arjun does it.
Oh, wow. Your prediction, OP. Are we going to see Queen B1, Queen G1 and Queen G3, something like this?
I won't be surprised. I think first he'll move the rook to that file and then your idea might come into play, Sahaj. The only piece remaining in the attack, the two bishops are eye-lining, the king side, the two rooks are ready. It's the queen. It's all about getting the queen into the party now. The route that you pointed out makes a lot of sense. It's a maneuver, but Arvind has set up a c5 break. He's going for a central counter offense.
Oh yes, and c5.
Oh, rook takes pawn a threat? Is rook takes pawn? No, not yet.
Rook takes
Not
pawn.
yet.
Wow.
Not yet.
When Arjun is playing on the other side, you have to be careful. He goes Queen B1, by the way, setting up for that Queen F1, Queen G2 idea in this position. And we have that featured chart, a chat saying Arjun on fire, and absolutely 4 out of 4. He doesn't look like he's stopping anytime soon.
I mean, the way he's playing, it looks like we might see an 18 on 18 right now,
Wow.
Magnus did a 9 on 9 in Grenke.
Wow.
There was a 7 on 7, the very famous, and for me, I think that is one of the absolute top results of chess that I've ever seen. I think it's still not surpassed that performance. Fabi's 7 on 7 of the Sinquefield Cup. I wonder how far Arjun will go. Sahaj, by the way, Wesley So completely winning against Vishy. Can we quickly jump over to that board?
Absolutely.
Vishy's busted right now.
Wow, look at that. Bishop takes H6 is completely gone in this position. If we can have the board on the...
We need to switch up the board to Wesley versus Vishy.
Yes, that board is on here.
And we'll get that as we have the cameras in front of us. And you can see it on Vishy right now. Wesley has just won that H-pawn. The file open. The rook placed for the attack. Wesley's king absolutely safe. Wesley there hesitating. He moved that queen twice to A5 and put it back. I mean the bishop, sorry. The queen even.
The queen, yeah. Goes knight d2. I believe we should have the live board for you guys very, very soon. But yes, Wesley is completely winning. The H file is completely open. The queen can go to H2 at any point to join the attack, and the king is more or less busted.
We know why Wesley was confused. He first said, I'm up a pawn, I'm going to just exchange the queens, putting it on A5 and offer a queen trade. But then he's like, I want more. So instead of putting the queen on A5 from B4, he put it back to D2 to get it to line up with the rook. So he just had a change in strategy.
Beautiful. And there it is. Wow. Vishy resigns and Wesley takes the W.
Wow, knight b6 resignations here, and the point is that knight takes knight. This is beautiful, Sahaj. Just quickly, if you can show that knight takes knight, he's deflecting a defender, and after this, queen h2 would have been game over at this moment because there's no way to defend against the attack on that knight to h7. And we'll get that back up quickly. Let's switch over to Arjun versus...
Yeah, I think it's
Arjun versus Arvind.
There we have it. Arjun versus Arvind on the board. We can maybe catch that when we do a game review on that with knight b6. But
and Arvind playing with seconds on the clock right now.
Yes, 30 seconds on the clock. Arjun definitely having some advantage on the king side. His queen is on f5, bishop is on e5. All of the pieces targeting the king.
Yeah, but there's a huge threat. Queen takes pawn is a big threat coming in with a check here. So Arvind has come in with An offensive idea defended by Arjun. He needs to keep his king safe. Arvind reroutes the knight. That knight is headed to c4 via b6. Knight takes bishop an idea. Knight b6 an idea.
Yes, but now looks like Arvind is more or less back in this position.
And he pushes b5. Arjun does, attacking the rook.
And now the rook has to move somewhere, perhaps to c4. That's a good square. Yep, and he plays it. But this could go the other way as well, because this king on d2 is looking a bit shaky to me. Queen a3 can jump in at any point, Tanya.
It's very tricky. It's incredibly tricky. Arjun is up a pawn, but suddenly the dynamics of the attack have shifted. It's Arvind on the push here. It's Arvind coming for the white king. You know, rook c2 ideas, queen a3 ideas, knight b6 eventually jumping onto c4.
Oh yes, so
and
many
you know what
pieces.
Arjun's setting up? He wants to march the king all the way across to the right side.
Artificial castling, as they say.
But will you have enough time? Because there's queen a3, there's also queen h4 if you go too far towards the king side.
You know, for sure, Arvind does not have enough time to
And
calculate
he has to
all
stop
of
queen
this.
h4 apparently. Bishop g3 needs to be played right now.
Wow. Plays it.
Wow.
How?
Unbelievable.
How do you find this?
And you're so shocked because this is not an obvious move at all.
Because you're completely looking on the king, on the queen's side, and here he is playing bishop g3 and trying to just look much more deeper in the position and trying to get his king safe with king f1 and king g1. And now Arjun is back on track to being 5 out of 5.
Arjun is back. Vidit we can see in our bow. We won't move there, but Vidit at the background, they're completely winning against Murzin as well. Arjun now pushing for the win. You can't trade queens. You're down a pawn.
Oh, he goes king g2.
And now the white king is completely safe. Just totally safe. The black knight offside from the attack.
And now he says, hello, your king is not safe. Mine is more or less safe. Is bishop h6 is a possibility in this position. He has to be careful.
He's going to triple up on the G line. Whoa, look at the speed with which Arvind needs to play now. He's playing on his final seconds. And that's when mistakes happen. And it did. He flagged. He wasn't able to complete his move on time. This is heartbreaking. You know, and it's just sad because Arvind has had great positions in the rapid, in the blitz as well. But these one move mistakes and blunders because of not having enough time on the clock.
Absolutely. But 5 out of 5, Tanya, is Arjun's score right now.
It's absolutely, he is the man of the moment truly at the Tata Steel Chess India Blitz. It's incredible the things that he's doing. And Pragg here with the white pieces, trying to get the win with the queenside majority of the pawns. And he's got an extra pawn on the right side as well. Coming for that d4 central pawn. If you take it, the white knight grabs it with a check and would have won the knight.
Takes on d4 and now push the pawn somewhere, h3 or h4. h4 makes a lot of sense. He had played it on 1 second, by the way.
g6 cannot be defended, but you can take knight takes pawn and go knight f1. Knight f1 would lose g3. Has Pragg given away his advantage? Knight comes back to g4. He didn't allow knight f1.
Wow, I think Wei Yi has defended this position already. Wow, and look at him, Captain Cool, yeah? With 1 second on the clock, he defends basically a position that was undefendable.
They're moving so fast that our boards can't keep up with it. The knight comes in with a check. The thing is that even though this is level, Pragg is going to push this one till the very end. Nihal Sarin gets a win meanwhile against Hans Niemann. As Hans, and we will get our board back up here.
Yeah, I think we need to get the board back up there. We can have it on full screen just to catch the players, what is happening there. Catching the final moments.
Vaishali, Arvind, the whole arena, all eyes on Pragg and Wei Yi. And Pragg trying to get the king all the way across to the other side. He needs to reach that F pawn with his king to combine the attacks. But Wei Yi just doing this very confidently as he also gains a little bit of time, incremental time on the clock. He'll just keep following the black king. The white king even. In fact, he goes even more aggressive. Has he given too much chance or has Wei Yi complete? Oh, look at that. What a way to finish it off. King takes pawn, and with that, this will be handshakes. Pragg disappointed, Wei Yi relieved.
A nice save there by Wei Yi with the black pieces. I think with that, all of the games have finished. And Tanya, how did Carissa Yip do in her match? Do we have a full score on both of these boards? Both of the sections?
And I will tell you one thing, while Arjun continues his 100% for Carissa Yip, her hot streak was stopped by Stavroula Tsolakidou. And maybe we can have a look at that game, Saj, because I had an eye on it and it was a beautifully conducted attack by Stavroula against Carissa. But the good news for Carissa fans is that she's still at the top. Still a half-point lead. This is where we stand. 1.5 points ahead is Arjun Erigaisi from the rest of the field. Vidit Wesley with 3.5. You got Nihal with 2.5. And then Hans, Wei Yi, Pragg with 2 apiece. Vishy, Arvind, Volodar Murzin struggling currently from 8th to 10th. Meanwhile, in the women's section, as we reach the halfway mark of day 1, you've got Carissa Yip at the top with 4 points. And then a half a point difference with Goryachkina, Vantika. Then you've got Vaishali with 2.5 along with Nana and Stavroula. As we get set up to show you that action, Saj, let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back with round 6 and a recap of Carissa's first loss at the Tata Steel India Blitz. And back just in time as we saw those handshakes happen for the big round 5, round 6 even action. Going into this, there we can see Divya, she's up against Goryachkina. A big clash in the men. Arjun Erigaisi looking unstoppable. And with me alongside for the rest of the day, I've got the unstoppable Rakesh bhai. Rakesh, bahut maza aa raha hai. Rapid was amazing. Blitz, Arjun's form. Kya ho raha hai yahan pe?
That's 5 out of 5, and maybe can he pull up Fabi and go like 7 on 7? We will see. But can he beat Wesley So with the white pieces as we see a crazy Trompovsky, or what's this? Like D45 Bishop G5.
Or a Magnus with a 9 out of 9?
Yeah, that's also possible. Queen C1 protecting the pawn. Wesley gets his bishop out. But I think this has to be one of those important matchups. And even in the same camera, Tanya, there we have Wesley versus Vidit. Wei Yi versus Vidit in that matchup.
Another big one this is. Vidit has been finding his rhythm in the tournament, you know, getting those wins. We've also got Vishy versus Hans, which is a big clash for us. Not just that, in the women's section, we'll keep an eye out on Carissa taking on Vantika. But let's head over to Vishy versus Hans. And that one we see there have been trades in the center. Rakesh, D-file is open. Are we going to see a long castle by Vishy?
I think so. And it's Vishy is yet to find his first win. Like he beat Arvind.
Yes.
But can he get his second win after a bad blunder against Arjun in the last game?
And that's a great question for Hans and for Vishy. A very important round. Hans as well at 2 out of 5 right now. So if they want any chances, they need to start scoring big. Queens have been traded off right now.
Stopping the bishop going to B4. So no long castle probably.
No long castle happening right now.
Oh, Wesley dropped a piece. I mean, not on the board, but off the board.
You know, in the last 1 month, too many pieces have been dropping. Too much drama around the fumbling of the pieces. Rook C8, he reroutes his rook. Alright, let's quickly take a look at Carissa's game against Vantika. A really important one for the standings in the women. Vantika at second place, 3.5 points. Carissa at 4. She's just half a point behind and she starts with the white pieces.
This very important matchup. If Vantika wins, she takes the lead.
Yes. And you know, this is what makes Carissa such a dangerous opponent regardless of which color she's playing in. H5 or H4 to aayega hi. Is game mein both of them are going to happen. H4 incoming.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like the Alpha Zero push the side pawns at the extreme end, and knight in the center. Vantika trying to counteract the pawn break by Carissa.
And it does turn out to be a mistake, even though I would say it's a natural move right now. You know, you want to do something, knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, hit that knight on C6. Carissa ready with her response, jumps. H4, you have to solve this threat.
And I want to solve another thing for Vantika, that she's 1 minute behind already in 6 moves.
Oof, Carissa putting pressure on the board and the clock. Let's head back to our open section. Arjun Erigaisi versus Wesley So. And Rakesh, Arjun's position looking so good with this E5, F4, bishop takes pawn, a big threat.
G6, the only move played, but I think the madman is going to win again. Arjun Erigaisi loves these dynamic positions where, you know, he can create chaos, and he's got it.
I've got a question for our chat. Chat, do you know who gave Arjun the moniker of madman in chess?
Oh.
Who started this? And it's meant as the best of compliments just simply because of what he creates on the board, his style of play, how he finds chaos regardless of what's going on. He is the king of chaos. But a certain player gave him this moniker, and Arjun just goes on to prove him right every time.
Each and every time. You see, there's so much power in every move. Queen V3, bishop F7, a huge threat. The D2 bishop is also hanging, mind you.
And he played it in
He
seconds.
takes it.
Wesley is saying this is a bluff. Arjun, this was a bluff. You've got to now talk the money here. Bishop takes pawn coming in with a check, talk the walk.
Yeah, you have to take the rook.
Yeah, but then you lose 2 minor pieces, right? Bishop takes rook, rook takes bishop. And the point is that black will have 2 minor pieces for a rook. It's very unclear the position regardless of what the bar says.
Okay, Arjun takes the knight.
Bishop takes knight is what we're expecting.
May want to like open up the F file somehow.
Oh,
get those
God.
rooks, the majors, into the play.
F5. Also, I want to point out, Bishop G8, Queen F7. How are you defending? King G7, King H6.
Run with the king.
Run, Forrest, run.
That's the only move, and I think with 50 seconds, Arjun
Oh, no.
has to
Bishop
create it.
e6. Bishop e6 is another. No, not bishop e6.
You
King,
can
king
just
c7. Yeah,
yeah.
just bishop takes. No, I thought queen takes bishop. There's bishop
Arjun
c5
takes
check.
the rook, Wesley recaptures. I think Arjun might be facing his first draw or a loss in this event. Ooh, this is looking really bad for Arjun Erigaisi, but
He's gone all in. All
Yeah.
chips in here by Arjun. He doesn't care about the pieces. He knows it's lost. He has to keep giving material just to come for Wesley's king.
if you want to bluff, at least bluff like this.
Bluff with confidence. If you can't convince them, confuse them.
Exactly.
And
Now-
Rakesh, our chat knows exactly who gave him the moniker. It was world number one Magnus Carlsen who called Arjun the madman for the first time.
And deservedly so.
Oh.
Now, F into G6, pawn takes one, huge threat. Wesley has to be careful.
And he has barely any time on the clock. He's now under a minute. He's completely winning on the board, but as long as there's fire against the king, Arjun will play on. I love this move. Comes with a counter attack on the rook. Not giving enough time for Arjun to open the F line.
Can't move the rook up because you'll get checkmated.
And now do you just simply pick up the E5 pawn, defending the bishop on C5 as well? Rook takes pawn.
Uh-oh. Not looking good.
He's reaching for the queen. I think he takes queen takes pawn is his idea.
There you go.
It's on the board. Bishop d6 coming in with queen h2 checkmate. Wesley, he is about to stop the hot streak of Arjun, or will Arjun again produce a miracle?
Rook check.
Okay,
But-
queen h2, huge threat. Gives a check. You can give another check, but the king will be super safe on h8. And if you're forced to trade queens to defend that mate, the endgame is completely lost.
And Arjun throws in pawn to G3, but his king is also equally exposed. And there you go.
There you go. It is Wesley who will be checkmating Arjun's king. And with that, Arjun's hot streak is stopped by Wesley So. Wesley So getting a win. And another result, Hans Niemann versus Vishy Anand.
Oh, I think Vishy won.
Wow, what a game.
So-
I think what an end position that is. We'll keep a lookout on all the other live action right now. Nihal versus Pragg still on. Let's go to Nihal versus Pragg.
Oh, Pragg with 2 seconds. Nihal having like 50 seconds. I think they're playing 2 different time formats. And looks like
Oh,
Nihal is just a piece up.
huge threat. C5, C6 coming in.
Yeah, and there's just no compensation for the bishop. And this is GG's, Tanya.
It really is GG's here. The rook gives a check. This one's over. Let's head over to Vidit versus Wei Yi as Praggnanandhaa throws in the towel. He resigns. Wei Yi, Vidit completely in balance. But I will say this is still far away from a draw that we've got. Playing on seconds, knights jumping around, it's a bit scary.
It's very scary, but Wesley So in the sole second position. Vidit can join him if he wins.
So huge game, but will he be able to win? He's just lost the a7 pawn, but is that knight at the edge trapped?
Uh-oh.
It's trapped.
Oh, it's gone.
Would you-
Vidit coming in.
But you're winning all the pawns. G6 is losing as well. You're going to be left with no pawns if you're black right now. The king will march up. G5 trade.
And Tanya, if you remember, Arjun checkmated Vidit with bishop and knight.
Yes.
That might happen again.
And that's it. The last pawns are off the board. A bishop and knight.
Oh, with the tricks.
Is Wei Yi playing for a win down your piece?
Possible. There's no way he's playing for a win there. He has to be careful, but the bar shows us exactly even right now. Vidit with 5 seconds, Wei Yi with 3 seconds.
And Wei Yi is about to win the bishop h8. He's found the best way to hold this game, and that's it. With it, will lose his bishop. The pawn on g5 will fall. And with that, handshakes happen. Let's quickly head over to our women board. This one ends in a draw. We see that Vantika beat Carissa Yip.
That's huge and takes the lead in the women's section.
What an amazing art. And look at that last position on this board.
wow.
With that, every game comes to an end in round 5. What a match. What a matchup that was, Rakesh.
And before we take our breath back, Tanya, round 6 results. Vishy with a big win. Nihal Sarin also getting the win, but the all-important win by Wesley So that throws the tournament wide open, stopping Arjun right in his tracks.
They're just that, and let's get an update. That's 4 decisive results in the Open and 5 decisive games
Love it.
in the women. You love to see it. And look at that, 4 wins with the white pieces. Divya taking down Harika. It was Stavroula who won her second back-to-back win against Rakshitta Ravi after taking down Carissa in the last round. And then Lagno, Aleksandra Goryachkina and Vantika Agrawal scoring 3 big wins with the white pieces. Rakesh, this is where we stand going into round 7.
Yeah, and we can see Vantika and Goryachkina leading the women's section now. Arjun Erigaisi has been caught up. The 1.5 points lead is down to half a point, but everything to play for. And you know, the last 3 rounds of any day are supremely important because that's how you go back home either happy or a little bit disappointed.
It's suddenly a tournament, the Open. It felt like Arjun's running away with it. It is wide open right now. Let's bring up our standings one more time where we actually saw that it's a half a point difference across the leaderboard here. 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5. And then a point difference. So for Nihal with Wesley Arjun, the next round incredibly important. And the women also a crazy story with Vantika and Goryachkina leapfrogging Carissa Yip there. A half a point lead. Once again, both sections have completely blown up.
Yeah, and you know, one big surprise is Kateryna Lagno not having the best of days, but we know she's the defending champion. She can definitely make a comeback, so don't count her out yet, chat. But yes, 3 rounds to go. I mean, extremely important rounds to see who goes into the lead into day 2. Tanya, who's your pick in the Open section?
To finish the day on a high, you know what? I love it when a tournament is wide open. I love it when there's not one player who's running away with it. It sets us up really nicely into day 2. So I just want to see fighting chess and I want to see the field. I would love to see the top place being shared by a couple of players at the end of the day in both sections. Rakesh, what do you say? Should we take a look at how Vantika took down the very informed Carissa Yip? She started with the queen's pawn opening and Carissa does her favorite thing. She loves to fianchetto the bishop on g6, and last time we checked it, Carissa had her h-pawn up the board. It in fact looked that she was the one who was pushing for initiative.
And Vantika also had the time disadvantage, so I'm curious to see how that changed. Okay, you see Vantika just has 1 minute left on the clock, chat.
And beautiful rook left by Vantika aiming to attack the queen from the b file. And Carissa steps back and Vantika plants the rook opposite the black king. h4 finally does arrive. Vantika going in with her knight. And still the position looks extremely good for Carissa. The h file open, h3 tender, knight g4 ideas in the air, the knight attacked. I will get that back.
It was Black's king who got checkmated in the center in this game, so really curious to see how that happened.
Yeah, and as I just try to reset the game,
Yep, yeah.
we'll just get to that
Very
point
interesting
really
rook
quickly.
left though. And the rook stopped from a3 to g3, then e3, and now the king comes back.
But this looks quite dominating for Carissa, right? Look at the 2 bishops. Rook f3, knight f6. I mean, this is beautiful. Vantika has just been dancing around with her rook. Something horrible happened in this game.
Yeah, some blunder for sure.
And Carissa gets her queen into play right now. Rook e3 attacking that pawn. Queen f4. Ignore the question mark because it looks like a very natural move. You're getting all your pieces towards the king side. Watch out for ideas like knight g4. In fact, why not knight g4 just now?
Yeah, I think I love it.
Oh, she
because
did it.
If you take it's
Only move. It was checkmate on h2. Knight takes pawn. And she missed rook f3.
this is the turning point. Tanya.
She missed rook f3. She was relying on rook takes knight, queen takes rook. But instead, rook f3. Or maybe she even saw rook f3. But this was the blunder.
The big difference.
The only move that had to be played was queen b4. And then after the trade, you're still hitting the knight on c3. The game would have gone on. But Carissa playing for the win. A huge blunder, in fact. And the point is that after rook takes knight, you don't have time to capture the rook because the queen is hanging queen d4 and she keeps chasing the queen and the rook on h8 falls.
Yeah.
She just completely forgot about the rook on h8 and had to give up the queen.
That's where the difference, $1 million smile there for Vantika after she beat the leader. It's always nice to beat the leader and get the lead yourself, but you want that to be the last game of the tournament.
And she pretty much checkmated the black king. Wherever you go, queen b5 comes with devastating effect. And that was the win that turned the leaderboard around. Rakesh, we've got a couple more minutes. Is there a game that you want to look at from the Open that we missed?
I'd love to see how Vishy beat Hans very quickly, because we will have action. We will have the players joining in pretty soon.
Let's do it. I love that call because it's something that we had mentioned as well. And look at that last position. Vishy with the white pieces.
Wow.
You're just about to promote a queen. Impossible to stop because it comes in with a discovered check as well. Let's see how this happened. So Vishy started with his favorite, best by test. Saw a Sicilian. An open Sicilian, a knight off by Hans Niemann, which means he was pretty ambitious about playing the black pieces against the 5-time world champion. Bishop to g5, traded off. The knight off, the key fight is about the d5 square. And I've noticed Vishy loves this idea. Get the bishop out in the knight off or any Sicilian, give it up for the knight and complete control on d5.
Yeah, he did it in the rapid section as well in a couple of games. So extremely strong idea there. Also, very nice to see that Vishy resigned early against Wesley.
Yes.
And just conserved his energy because he knew this will be important.
Because it's a 9-round day and he knew the position was totally lost. But instead of fighting, he just said, okay, things have gone wrong. By the way, Hans just sacrificed the pawn. And I'm wondering, where did he see his counterplay in this one? Because it just feels like you're going into an endgame where it's 3 versus 2. I mean, this could not have been a blunder, right? He could not have missed that d6 is hanging.
No way.
That's not even
I
possible.
think some move order gone wrong probably for Hans, as we see. He's the only player in the tournament hall who has taken a seat, and he's going to be playing the madman Arjun Erigaisi. So,
Whoa, that's a marquee matchup.
yeah.
I mean, Vishy just converted this beautifully. He brings all his pieces out. The king is placed nicely at the center, now defending the king's side pawns. One by one, now you're up a pawn, you start trading. Hans finds a trick, but Vishy's ready for it. He jumps with the knight at the center. If you take bishop takes knight, which is what happened, Vishy gets a beautiful passer. No time to capture on c2. He instead picks up the b pawn. Vishy's relying all hopes on the very advanced b2, the knight. Heading over to b7 to assist that pawn. The knight comes back. The position is completely chaotic, but a lot of pressure because of the d6 strength. Knight d2, knight d5. The knight jumps forward, attacks the bishop. The bishop pieces blocking the d line. The rook comes on the open file. Vishy's king runs to the center. The rook infiltrates. The rook gives a check. The d pawn is about to move up, and that's it. Knight a5 coming in with knight c6. And game over, just like that. D8 queen is coming in and Hans resigned.
Incredible. Look at the time Vishy had. 1 minute 24 when the game finished. He is the real OG lightning kid, Tanya.
He is 100% the OG lightning kid from the 80s when the faster formats was not even a thing. But you know, it was no matter what time control he was playing, he always was quick. Naturally flamboyant with his moves and his attack, finding tactics very quickly. And you know, I've noticed one thing at Tata Steel Chess India Rapid, that either he's winning games with a lot of extra time on the clock, or something goes wrong and he's conserving energy then. He's like, okay, I don't want to continue fighting this, and I want to go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Vishy mentioned that he doesn't want to play a time scramble with his opponents.
It's, I think, very logical.
Very smart.
Very smart experience. Speaking there by Vishy, as we see Carissa Yip, who's taking a stroll. She's be playing Kateryna Lagno there. All the players are set. Tanya, the marquee matchup though has to be Arjun Erigaisi versus Hans Niemann.
1000%. There's no question about that. But Hans Niemann coming from that loss against Vishy, well, he pretty much got destroyed in that endgame. What is his mindset? And right behind that is another marquee matchup.
Oh.
You know, that's a clash you don't want to miss.
Yeah, wherever you look here at Tata Steel Chess India, it's a marquee matchup. Pragg playing his mentor Vishy Anand, and
he's wearing the Waka blazer as well.
Huge matchup, and they faced off in 2018 for the first time again at Tata Steel Chess India. So it's the tournament has come so far with Vishy Anand now playing again here, and they are facing off again in Kolkata.
And in 2018, it was Pragg and Nihal, the two Indian youngsters who got a chance to play against the elite of the world. It's always been the vision of the tournament to give a platform, to the Indian players.
Yep.
for a seat at the top.
Nowadays
with the
they are
world's
invited
best.
though because they are at the top of the.
Now they're that table. It's not a seat anymore. They are pretty much the table itself.
And then and we have handshakes there. In 2018, it was Pragg who helped Vishy win the Blitz title because he held Nakamura to the draw. But maybe we'll see some payback there.
All right, let's see.
Cillian, let's go.
The Cecil for the kill, but a very solid approach by Hans. He's gone for the Alapin.
Maybe Hans is like, let's stop the bleeding and,
Yes.
hold the madman. Or let's not give the madman the chaos he needs. Oh, now it's a French defense at an opening which Arjun used to play in his
The
childhood.
chaos he doesn't deserve, but he needs.
Absolutely. Oh, and it looks like Arjun is really well prepared. He loves the French defense.
He does it because, again, it just gives you that chance to create all those, fiery positions where black will at some point aim for an f6 break, or the queen will jump to b6, putting more pressure on d4. Of course, white also has its own pluses, right? Huge space advantage. It's a connect 4 already on the board, which means that white will direct attention to the right flank for the rest of the game.
Yep.
It's the pawn point theory, right? When you have a chain, you look at the head of the chain, and wherever that is what directs the play. So in this case, e5 means that for white, activity lies on the right side.
And definitely some kingside attack can be coming up. Arjun takes the pawn in the center. Hans throws in an intermediate. Bishop takes knight.
The pawn on d4 would be hanging, so he was forced to trade the knights off, which means that Arjun has a double pawn and he gets the chaos that he wanted. This is far away from a balanced position, and Hans doing everything right. He wants the queen on b3 to put pressure on d5 next. Let's check in with Vishy versus Pragg. And there it is. Wow.
Wait, what?
So
Looks like a king pawn opening, e4, e4.
definitely. An Italian is what I would guess at here. And Pragg going all out on the left flank, and Vishy already setting up knight f4 ideas.
Oh, love it.
Love to see it. This is fun. Queen to b1. Does he want to go b6 to kill that bishop and then trap the knight on a5?
That's a huge threat.
It's
actually.
a huge threat.
Vishy has to be careful.
Oh, Pragg is very sneaky. And the thing is that, how are you making use?
I think it's the first time Vishy's down on the clock. He's almost like 45 seconds down, and I think this game is not going his way. Hot take, Tanya, Pragg's taking this one.
Oh, that is bold. Rakesh, you really won with all the hot takes I've noticed. By the way, those show opens, fantastic.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, he's quite a one-take hero in that as well. All right, so Vishy, with that idea of having to defend that knight, he's made a move stopping b6, stays connected to the knight on a5, but it's not a happy move to make, right? Getting the queen back to its starting position.
It's like a small concession, and both of you know that's a bad move that Black didn't want to play, but he had to. And now the kingside attack for Black looking very unlikely.
Very unlikely. All right, as Pragg thinks how to make the most of this, let's head back to Hans versus Arjun here. Crazy things are happening in that, Rakesh.
Oh my god.
Last we left it, bishop e7, knight came out, g5, g4. Arjun doesn't hesitate. Bro doesn't hesitate.
He's like, this was too vanilla for me. Let me throw g5, g4. Wow. What a player, man.
It's really something to watch him. The top 5 in every single format. The only Indian.
Yeah. India number 1 across all 3.
India number 1
formats.
across all 3. He's won the double bronze in Doha. Has a disastrous day 1, starts with 2 back-to-back losses. Then goes on to win the bronze here in Tata Steel Rapid. And 5 out of 5 here. And coming all guns blazing after a loss. He says, I don't care, I'm black. I don't think about stopping any bleeding here.
Exactly. Bishop g5 threatened there by Arjun. Hans gotta be careful, but he has a 30-second advantage. Meanwhile, can we quickly jump into Wesley So's game? Because looks like he's brewing up a nice attack against Arvind. Also critical because Wesley in sole second place.
At 4.5 out of 6, and Arvind at the bottom of the leaderboard. A disaster, it looks like, is incoming here. Rook g8, rook h3 are things that you need to be careful about once the bishops are traded off. Also notice again, in the Sicilian, full control of d5 square. If you win the d5 battle, you have huge advantage here.
Yeah, Rook G3, like you mentioned there, 40 seconds for Arvind's not been the best of tournaments for him.
So Wesley on the push here. We've got Hans versus Arjun, where Arjun is going wild completely. He says, I don't believe in castling. Puts the king to f8. But you know, this is a double-edged sword. Because white has control on the d6 square. The knight on c6 is soft. Imagine a doubling up of the d file and the white rook enters on c7. Arjun's playing with fire.
Yeah, and notice that pawn on e6, Tanya. Not really doing much, but that's the typical French bad bishop that we know. But I think all three results possible. This is going to end decisively.
100%. And you know, Hans has also set up a beautiful blockade on the dark squares. Slightly surprised by that queen move, probably against the idea of bishop g5 is what he didn't like. I wonder if it's time for Arjun to push the h-pawn.
Let's go! Come on!
Arjun doesn't stop. It's f, g, h, everything 4.
H4, throw, I think just go. Oh no, c6.
c6 attacked.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about. The c file, because of this move b6 that was played, it's a soft spot.
Maybe some tactics incoming. Hans goes
Oh,
in
and
with
look at this.
knight.
Bishop takes knight, pawn takes bishop. Watch out for the queen infiltrating on
Ouch.
h8. That would be an ouchie.
25 seconds for Arjun.
No, this is actually a crazy game. I don't even know who's better anymore. And the bar says it's level. It's anything but level if you're a human right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like grab your popcorn and enjoy the spectacle because these two fighters are going to give us absolute cinema.
We might see Hans setting up the Alekine's battery with rook c1, rook c2, queen c1, all the majors on one file.
Oh, Arjun throws in the pawn, blows up the position.
He wants to open up the diagonals, Rakesh, for the bishop. Is he going to pick up a2? But it feels like a poisoned pawn.
I mean, Fischer kind of did something similar.
But Arjun's
10
going
seconds
calm
for
and
Arjun.
Oh my goodness.
You know, the bar saying it's completely equal. He grabs on d6.
You take with the pawn. You take with the pawn if you're playing for a win. It's opposite color bishop, but the kings are on the board. The majors are on the board. It's all about the attack. And Arjun's coming in with it. Oh, look at that. He's provoking g3, queen b7 with checkmating ideas.
There's always going to be that back rank threat for White's king. Hans taking a moment, rightfully so. And Wesley So has one.
So Wesley moves up to 5.5 out of 7.
Which means Arjun needs at least a draw to maintain
I
first
think
place.
draw is the least likely result in
Yeah,
this position.
true.
Unless the queens and the rooks come off the board. But that's a far
G3.
way off. Alright, that is committal. Will he first... Did you see the speed with which he played? He first creates some luft for his king. F6, he blocks any diagonals on the dark squares.
So maybe trying to bring the rook somehow in the game.
Queen b7 would have been met by f3, and now queen c7. Will Arjun trade?
Yeah.
Rook g7. You know, I think he switched gears here. Arjun's okay with the draw now.
But look at Hans's time. It's down to 10 seconds.
Come on, Arjun bhai.
And God is saying, yeah, come on, Arjun,
My
can
God
you do
is
this?
saying it.
Yeah. Queen trade. 5 seconds for both.
Rook takes queen, but that's the thing. You're 4 versus 3. If your Arjun is useless now on the right side, it's completely useless. Arjun is playing to survive this now.
True. He's trying to swing his rook over. Tanya, you never know. If the madman gets that h2 pawn, he might push.
How are you ever going to reach to that pawn? You need the first rank for it. Look at the way Hans has put his king. No infiltration for the black rook.
Yeah, 5 seconds or just 4 seconds.
The rook goes back. Arjun's got no time. He's worse on the board. Who's that player who's watching?
Wesley.
Is that Wesley?
Yeah.
With his win. And by the way, Pragg versus Vishy is in the balance right now. But that game as well, playing on seconds. We'll stay with this one.
Yeah, Vidit has one. Meanwhile, Tanya just letting chat know. 5 seconds for both players. Somehow the draw looking more likely now, Tanya.
And we've got a result with Pragg and Vishy agreeing to a draw in that game. That ends peacefully. This one, anything can happen.
The
Arjun,
right
he
there.
finds a way to trade the rooks. This is safety.
Clutch by Arjun Erigaisi there. He trades. Oh, wait, he's winning. The king is going to go and grab the h2
Oh
pawn.
my
He
God,
had a
you
chance.
called it. You called the H-pawn.
He had a chance.
And he didn't take it. We break it down. At the other moment, it's Pragg. He's frozen. He's not willing to leave his chair. And now there's no way for Arjun's king to find a way in. What a moment that was.
There was a very small moment there, but this game now likely ending in a draw. Oof. Wow.
He's trying though. He's
Yeah,
trying. He
he's
gives
still
up. He wants
pushing.
that king to f5.
Never know. 3 seconds too.
Oh, you know, a player can get flagged. And look at the way that Hans didn't take on f5, not allowing any inroads. Now he's starting to take f4 with the pawn. Arjun forced to trade. Hans's king will be forced to stay here if Arjun's able to just get his activity on the light squares, but he won't be allowed. We'll just see the bishop shuffling.
Yeah.
Look at this. Arjun's inviting king takes pawn, but Hans is not falling for it.
Both players blitzing out the bishop moves and draw being offered. Tanya, what a game this was. The
What-
least predictable result happened.
What a game. What a round this was. Just amazing, amazing stuff there. You know, Hans, something's got to be said. Showing such incredible strength and fortitude in a difficult attack facing Arjun first. Then manages to convert that to him pushing with that pawn on d6. And Arjun with a missed opportunity at the end.
Yeah, probably. I don't think any of the players noticed it so far. But as soon as they get back to the players' lounge, they are going to see that.
And maybe we can just show that moment really quickly because that is the big turnaround. And then we'll come, as we talk about the results first, let's stay on this. We had 3 decisive games in the Open. Wesley So getting a big win. We had Volodar Murzin going down to Wei Yi and Vidit Gujrathi, the only other player to score a win against Nihal Sarin. Hans Arjun was draw. Anything but peaceful the game was. Pragg Vishy also ended in the same manner. In the women's section, we had 4 decisive games. Look at that, all white wins.
Wow. Big wins there for the white players. I think, none of the leaders won though. Carissa, I think, back in the lead now.
Carissa getting that win against Lagno, none other than the rapid winner there, the 3-time women Blitz champion. So huge win for Carissa. Once again, leapfrogging as Vantika went down to Stavroula. Should we quickly show that moment that happened before we go to the standings? And I think you spotted it. I'm going to go back. I think it was even before any of this happened.
Before king takes d6.
Let's start from here. Because when Arjun found a way to trade the rooks, it felt like this will now just end in a draw peacefully. But this was a big mistake.
Yeah.
And the point is that now simply, this was the moment that Arjun had to sacrifice the pawn, but march all the way to a point that you had earlier pointed out. And in fact, this was totally lost. Arjun would have been on 6.5 out of 7.
Yeah. That's
On
big
6
miss.
out of 7, sorry.
Big miss though by Arjun, I think.
And there's nothing you can do after this. King takes pawn, king f3. You know, if you try to come in, black will eventually sacrifice the bishop.
Yeah.
And not even care, literally not care about anything because the h3 pawn will be unstoppable. But instead of bishop e3, in fact, the only move in the position was a very difficult one. Hans
Sacrificing
had
the
to go
pawn.
f3. Giving a very dangerous one, but the point is that now you come back with your bishop. If you go king e4, you basically say no entry. And I want to see what happens if you go f2 now. What is the difference in this position? King e4.
I think you can go g4 and put the bishop on.
Bishop d4. Aha.
Probably.
So you take f6 and after king g2, you go bishop e5. And your idea now g4. And this is how you would have held. Crazy endgame in an opposite color bishop. Chess is beautiful like that.
So rich.
So rich. But once he got this opportunity to place the bishop here, it was too late to do anything because of the idea of bishop e5 if now you get your king in.
And I think nicely held. Well deserved result, I think, for both players, both fighters, making that draw there. Any other game, Tanya?
Let's take a look at some of the action in the women because I saw that Vaishali won her game against Divya.
Yeah, let's have a
Should
look.
we do a quick action replay on this one? And this started with Vaishali going for the queen's pawn opening and Divya also doing, what we see her do so many times. This is what even Carissa does, by the way. Just fianchetto your bishop and say, I want a game early on, no matter what white plays. E4, D4, C4, you respond with G6 and bishop G7. It converted into a Slav. A pawn sacrifice where white will play on the center, giving up a side pawn. About to be won though. Gains central control, the bishop comes out. Once again, I'll just have that up. The bishop came out, e4 pushing that bishop back, bishop e3. Divya says, I'm not giving you that pawn. Vaishali says, I've never cared about pawns in my life. I think only about the attack. Look at that, she's gone everything for.
Oh, what a nice game.
Takes literally everything for. D4, E4, F4, G4. And here,
That's a blunder.
G5 would have been very, very strong. And the point is that after G5, you take pawn takes pawn, but she started with pawn takes pawn and just went for material here. But this is positionally winning as well because C4 is falling, G5 in the air. Knight takes knight. G4 drops, C4 gets picked up. It's actually quite a chaotic position still. Rook joining the attack. Queen takes pawn. Divya attacks the knight. Knight D6, knight F7 is coming in. She doesn't care about exchanges because the knight is too strong. She wants rook H3, knight F7 ideas. Wins the exchange. Rook goes to G3, now threatening F5 moving forward, disconnecting the bishop to the knight. H5 protects the knight. F5 comes anyway. F6 is a big threat. Queen C4 pinning the bishop. Falls back, attacking the queen. Look at that. Vaishali says, I'll trade, but I want a pawn on E6. Divya denies it. She's down in exchange. She needs to look for tricks. Queen attacks the bishop. Rook attacks the queen. Comes back. It's all about these beautiful pawns at the center of the board.
Yeah, they decided the game.
Not to mention the bishop. They really did decide the game. F7. And now it's just all about getting that pawn up. Attacks the rook and the bishop. Rook B6 only move. Setting up a checkmate in 1 on H2. Simply defended. The queen falls back to guard. And look at that. Queen H8 checkmate. Has to be stopped. And the other pawn joins the party. A trade. All the attack is nullified. The white queen centralized. Picks up an important side pawn with the G pawn pinned. The knight on H6 pinned. The queen paralyzed. Nothing to play for. E6 coming in. And Divya resigned.
Yeah, this is GG's.
Demolished here. Actually, really
Very nice.
beautiful game by Vaishali.
So then if we could have the standings for the day after round 7, Wesley So and Arjun Erigaisi in the lead, 5.5 out of 7. Vidit in sole third place.
And that's 5 points for Vidit. So he's definitely having a far better Blitz event than he did in Rapid. And look at the difference between third and fourth. That's what stands out to me on this leaderboard.
That's huge.
A 1.5 point margin between Vidit and the rest.
Maybe a 3-horse race in the open section, but in the women's section on the right hand side, we see Goryachkina and Carissa Yip. Stavroula Tsolakidou, the surprise with 4.5, and Vantika as well. So I think it's also nice to see, Tanya, 4 different federations in the women's section at the top.
In the top 4. Love that point out. You've got Vantika as well there in the mix with Stavroula. Goryachkina finding herself at the top with Carissa with 5 points. In our open, if we can look at the matchups that are coming on, because this is the second last round of the day. The players will play each other one more time tomorrow with the colors reversed. And this is the action. You've got a huge clash with Arjun versus Pragg, which is your pick for the round.
I think Arjun with the white pieces and that cute photo of his 5 years ago. I think I'm going for Arjun. Then
Did he have a photo change for Arjun at some point? I believe he did.
Probably, but just also the pairing right beside him, then Tanya. Wesley So versus Hans Niemann, the All-American Derby.
It's the All-Indian and the All-American Derby between the two leaders, actually, with Wesley and Arjun fighting it out.
Absolutely, and top right chat, if you can see Vishy Anand taking on Vidit. Vishy in the middle section, but Vidit in third place. What's going to happen there?
So 3 crucial matchups.
And
let's take a look at the pairings in the women. As we know, the players are about to enter the arena 2 minutes away exactly from liftoff right now. And there we've got it. It's a big one. It's the clash of the leaders.
Yeah, Aleksandra Goryachkina taking on Carissa Yip. That's going to be a huge clash. And also we have Vaishali taking on Harika in the Indian Derby. And Stavroula versus Kateryna Lagno.
What a match that's going to be. And let's see which are the players who have arrived in our venue, in our arena. And Rakesh, we saw you earlier in there at the start, a packed auditorium today.
That's so lovely to see, Kolkata, the city of joy. We know the city breathes sport. It's so nice to see a packed auditorium here on Saturday. Maybe tomorrow we will have even more people because it's Sunday.
And there's also a player signing, I believe, on Sunday. So it's a huge opportunity. If you're in Kolkata, come over on Sunday at the Dhanodhanya Auditorium to watch the final day of Tata Steel Chess India Blitz. We will have our Blitz winner then. And right now the players are getting ready for the penultimate round. I'm going to adjust that board because that is from Arjun's last matchup. Arjun will take on Praggnanandhaa in this one, and it's going to be Wesley versus Hans.
And Arjun versus Pragg, they have so much history that they had a World Cup matchup as well for the candidate spot back then. It's going to be a battle for the ages, something which we will see for years to come.
Yes, take this picture in. This is going to be, the generation that's going to clash with each other for so many more decades. You're probably even going to see them potentially at the World Championship stage someday.
Hopefully soon, as we see a very interesting opening there by Pragg. Puts the pawn in the center.
The knight comes out. Bishop gives a check. And Arjun, he blocks it with his knight. And Pragg there, he takes control of the d6 square against the idea of the knight jumping in with a check. First imbalance created, a bishop pair for Arjun. It always fascinates me, Rakesh, how quickly I use the word first imbalance created when there is Arjun on the board.
It's like Arjun is like, oh, no way, the position isn't crazy enough. Here you go, sacrifice the pawn.
Yes. Like you said, vanilla chess is not his style.
Absolutely not. And it's always nice to see the confidence with which Arjun Erigaisi plays.
Well, if you talk about confidence, one player who has plenty of that is Hans Niemann. He's playing against Wesley So right now, and also a very non-standard opening in that one. I mean, c6, b6, and the last move, a6 by Hans.
So weird.
Weird is a good way to put it. I mean, it just looks very healthy for white, right? Your pieces are out, you're the first to castle, Hans behind in development, a weakened pawn structure there. b5 needs to be played if you've committed yourself to this. Pawn takes pawn will be met. I won't be surprised if he actually captures not towards the center to open up the bishop diagonal. With c takes b5 if there's pawn takes pawn. Wesley doesn't give him the opportunity, he retreats.
I think he's going to put in a lot of pressure. And remember, Wesley So, the current leader alongside Arjun Erigaisi, so huge matchup this.
And you mentioned it, Vidit currently in sole third. Let's check out the opening in Vidit versus Vishy. Right now, the last move has been a knight jump by Vidit, potentially hinting at f5, knight h6, f5 ideas.
Touching the golden pawn.
There's a threat, knight takes pawn. He set up a little trap.
Oh, Vishy, alert.
Super sharp. Rook takes knight. The queen needs to stay connected to the knight on h4.
It's going to kick that rook away with pawn to h3. So Vidit has to be careful about that. But Tanya, can we quickly jump into Arjun's game? Because craziness Pro Max Plus.
Ultra Pro Max Plus.
Look at that, like G pawn missing, king safety missing, but both players fighting it out.
There's a pawn missing. White is down a pawn. Arjun has sacrificed the pawn. It's
course.
7 versus 6, of course. So, but it just looks like this extra pawn, with the queen as a sole piece against the black king, do you think white has enough compensation?
No, he will create it. If there is, I think it's like some ideas like pawn to g4, bishop e4 after you save the rook. But he's going to create chaos, and that's where Arjun thrives.
He's going to find a way. The thing is, he's fully controlling Pragg from going d5. You don't have enough defenses, and that's the key. You can't allow black to get full central control here. He's playing on the light squares right now, Arjun is.
And Tanya, that's exactly why the engine is also saying the position is in the balance. Oh, there you go, h4.
He's like, none of my pieces are resisting a queen, a pawn will.
Let's go, Harry.
Harry the h-pawn, queen to e2. He comes back trying to vacate that path for the h-pawn to move forward at the right moment. He plants the bishop on d5. Knight takes bishop, rook takes knight. It will all be about just making sure you have a blockade in the center. And then he'll also line up the queen. I still feel like I am a bit materialistic. I think Pragg should be fine here. That extra pawn, king feeling safe, open c line.
Yeah, he's definitely safe, but can he win is the main question. But I'm really surprised with the amount of moves they've made with such little time. Both have almost 2 minutes left.
And Vishy is close to a
Wow,
advantage against Vidit. Can we quickly go back to Vishy's board right now? G4, just in time as we come in.
Perfect timing.
A good move. G5, Rook H3, checkmate, G6, thank you very much. F6, thank you very much.
GG's,
I mean, how are you stopping G5, Rakesh?
it's like Vishy sir can tell with it. These are my next moves. Do whatever you want about it.
Vishy is just schooling here. He's running a school here in Kolkata at the Dhanadhanya Auditorium.
Nice to see Hikaru running farms to farm rating. And knight d5, queen trade threatened. But I think just ignore
Smart
and play
move.
g5.
But it's a huge mistake. G5 looks very strong because the problem is not just G5, it's Rook H3.
Yeah, how are you going to stop the mate? For example, g5, knight takes knight, you ignore it.
Give all of that queen side. And Vishy will not trade. He goes G5 here.
And he has 1 minute extra.
It's just crazy, his clock management. He reaches for the G pawn. It is coming.
Let's go.
It arrives. Knight takes knight. Your move, Rook H3.
Rook h3. Ignore.
But knight E2 check.
So what? King
H6.
f2.
H6.
Oh, he's going f6.
He is ignoring it. Same idea, different execution. Look at that. And the point is, after pawn takes pawn, Rook H3, you can't defend the mate. You don't have H6.
Vidit throws in a knight check.
Just move the king. Just slide the king to the side. Vishy's about to win this. He's down a piece, but he's about to win this. Pawn takes pawn, Rook H3 will be game over.
And lightning kid for a reason, like our feature chat is showing there. Tanya, what an impressive win.
Amazing. And the point was that before F6, to go Rook H3 would have allowed H6 because of the pin on the queen. Vishy's so precise.
And Vidit planning to sacrifice his queen for that rook, but the knight is also trapped, Tanya.
Oh, that's a great point you make. That is a great, very important defining feature. Vishy reaches for the pawn. I was expecting him to go for Rook H3. So king takes pawn, Rook F6. Is that the idea?
Yeah, and then queen at 6 check as well. Vishy with 40 seconds with it.
Vidit is using Vishy's pawn as an umbrella to defend his king. Rook goes in anyway. He doesn't even care about that knight. That knight doesn't matter to Vishy. It is a useless knight. It's firstly trapped.
Vidit throws in a check.
And here, your queen is also running out of squares. Okay, just don't touch this rook because queen G1 checkmate.
And Tanya, the position is bad if Indian is saying
Just take.
mate in 9.
Oh wow, there's a mate in 9. Is it now a mate in 8? After Rook H6?
Yes, exactly. It's mate in 7 in fact. Vishy's so good.
Vishy skipped a move. He's so good that he skipped a move.
Yeah, rook at 7, 5 seconds for Vidit. He's trying to create a luft, but Vishy's going to close that with G6, Tanya.
Oh, I love that move. I love that move. I love it. G6, knight takes pawn, rook, queen takes pawn, or rook takes pawn. I think G6, knight takes pawn, rook takes pawn, game over. Or even rook H8, game over.
Goes in with his queen, and he's so excited. Look at Vishy Anand there.
Checkmate on the board. Checkmate
Wow.
on the board by Vishy. With it showing sportsmanship there, letting the checkmate happen as well.
It's not like he missed it.
What a game though. What a conversion. What an attacking masterpiece this was. There's action still on, by the way.
Yeah, let's go to
Arjun
Pragg's game.
versus Pragg.
By the way, Tanya, Wesley So has beaten Hans Niemann and is in a 1-point lead unless Arjun wins. Things looking not so good for our madman, Tanya.
Wesley suddenly just completely in form in the Blitz. He's gone to 5.5 points.
I think this is going to be either a draw or Pragg's going to win. Just two results.
It's an extra pawn for Pragg. He's held on to that extra pawn for the entirety of that game with his dear life right now, and he's reaching for the pawns on the left side. Arjun's got an uphill battle here to defend this one. Rook takes pawn would have been met by Rook F6 check. So not allowing any trades. Offering a trade. And Pragg says, I'm going for the win. In fact, he's trying to box up the white king. Knight will jump to F3 at the right moment once he defends the G4 pawn. Knight F3 ideas. Incoming.
Yeah, Arjun smartly trading as many pawns as possible. Rook on the 7th rank. Pragg definitely in the driver's seat. Can he convert though?
That is the big question right now. Will he be able to get the full point, or will Arjun save this? Well, the pawns have been cleared up, right? And with every trade, you get closer to that draw. The problem is the black knight isn't able to be free because of the attack on G4. One more set of pawns off, but this has given Pragg 2 passers and a very dangerous one on the B file. Looking at pushing the G pawn as quickly as possible.
Pragg has 3 seconds. He's got to go.
It's a race on the clock. It's a race on the board. And Pragg cannot stop the clock this time with 1 second.
Yeah, definitely not. I think both players going to get a new queen probably.
Anything can happen. We might be seeing queens on the board. The G-pawn racing up, but
Arjun makes a mistake.
because Pragg's knight is stopping the G-pawn, but nothing is stopping the B-pawn. He comes back with the bishop though. He finds a way, Arjun does. King C3 is a big threat. Rook H2, another one.
Arjun picks up the pawn.
Rook H2 gives a check. The knight is coming in, knight E3. Look at the narrow thread with which Arjun is holding on the rook, bishop and the king at the edge.
Oh, Pragg.
He had to move the rook to A2
It's
because
equal.
of
I can't
E3.
believe the eval is 0.003 seconds for Pragg.
Oh my
He's
god,
got to go.
he's 2 steps away from queening. King B3.
Wait, what? What a crazy move. He's going to flag, Tanya. He's going to flag.
Rook takes on, the bishop comes back, Pragg is up a pawn now, one more time.
Oh my god, what a game.
Insane. Gives a check, the king moves towards the center, the d-pawn will move up, but watch out, there are checks coming on E2.
And watch out, there's 2 seconds left on the clock.
Oh my god, Pragg has to have one eye on the clock. Knight rook F1 checkmate.
Uh-oh. Arjun saves it.
But it's a blunder. Knight C2.
Oh, pawn to D3 coming in, Tanya. That's a huge threat.
And then rook F1 once the bishop leaves the diagonal. The king steps forward, D3 again reinforced.
Yeah, Pragg's got this now, Tanya. I think he's going to win.
The clock. The
Oh. He did that with 1 second.
He's played I don't know how many moves in a second. And Arjun just so resilient with his defense. It's unbelievable. The point is D3, bishop takes pawn. That's going to be knight rook versus rook. And that's a
Exactly.
draw. You have to play D3.
He
and the
goes
knight-
for it.
Because rook is hanging on D2. You can't take that pawn. But you can't take the bishop because rook takes pawn.
And
But
he
that is
resigns.
it because the rook on D2 hangs after that last check on the board. Arjun, fantastic defense, but Pragg kept pushing till he cracked. He kept making threats on the board even with 1 second on the clock. And finally Pragg even can breathe.
All of us can.
Oh my goodness,
Chat,
it's true.
take a breather because
Chat, you breathe as well.
that was crazy. I think insane defense by Arjun, but Pragg perseverantly won the game, and which means Wesley So is in the lead. We forgot about that.
What a round this has been. Let's have our results of round 8 as we go into the final round of the day, Rakesh.
Love it, Tanya. All 5 games decisive. The audience has come here to see blood, and they got none.
A complete bloodbath. 4 wins with the white, 1 with Praggnanandhaa. Perhaps the most important one to blow open the field there. And in our women's section, equally decisive there with only 1 draw and 4 wins there. Lots of action. Chat, tell us what is going on in your mind. Who ends the day on a high? Send us those chats that we want to feature on our stream. We'll have you up on this. Like the stream, spread the word as we go into the final round of the day.
Yeah, and if you could have our standings up quickly there. Wesley So in a 1-point lead. Vidit also lost against Vishy, so those standings don't change. But the middle group is starting to claw their way back up in the open section. And in the women's section, Goryachkina and Carissa drew. So they are on 5.5. No wins for Vantika, neither Stavroula.
So after a 5 out of 5 start for Arjun, he's lost 2 out of 3 games, including this last one to Pragg. He lost to Wesley as well. And I mean, just the way Pragg converted this endgame, masterful. But I have to say, Vishy's attack against Vidit, that is going to go into chess books which are written on masterful attacks and how to execute them.
Yeah, and even some chessable course on the Italian if somebody wants to show how to convert very effortlessly with the white
Beautifully
pieces.
done. I mean, he just pushed the G-pawn, put the queen on the H-line, the rook moved forward, and just a fantastic deliverance there at the end.
Amazing and so nicely. Vishy was excited to win.
He loves it.
And with it also a very good sport, allowing the checkmate. Normally players do this to show that, okay, opponent, that you have played a beautiful game and you deserve to end the game by checkmate.
And we've got Pragg returning the favor to Wesley by stopping Arjun. What a game, what a fight that was. I mean, for both these players, these are my favorite kind of rounds and games, Rakesh, where it's not a blunder that decides. It's both players pushing each other to the edge of their limits. to continuing to fight. I mean, the number of moves that were made by us with a second on the clock.
Amazing.
Finding defenses for such a long time, finding ways to keep the game going, and in the end doing it.
I mean, incredible. And we could really see, and even chat could tell, that though that was a game played between two 2,700 players, extremely strong players, and who don't give up and fight till the bitter end.
And it was also a bitter end for Nana Dzagnidze against Divya Deshmukh. It's a game we couldn't check out because there was too much, too much action. So maybe we use this moment to do a run through of that, Rakesh.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let's check it out, chap. This was the final position where Nana resigned. Divya getting a big win in. She starts with the queen's pawn opening.
And Divya featuring the bishop with either color, doesn't matter.
Just part of the plan. And I think it's a really great plan, especially in Blitz, because it just guarantees a game.
Oh, I thought another reason, because those moves are near the clock.
You need to double check. If you do an interview with Divya, you gotta ask her, why do you love fiancatoing your bishop in every position, every color? Knight h4 attacks the bishop. Once again, Divya sacrifices the queen side pawn. You've got a double here for black on the C line and the F line. Divya's playing for peace activity.
Yeah, just would quickly like to point out, look at the time situation.
More time.
She has double the time.
Yes.
In a Blitz game. Like, how rare is that?
This is some opening preparation, right? Cooked at home.
Yeah.
And it comes with the double attack, this move, so you're also actually a triple attack, even. Ahead in development, bishop b4, you have to rush with development here. And look at that, Divya just places the king to f1 because h4, h5 will see the development of this rook. She wins the pawn back. The bishop goes back. White has got a bishop pair at the end of everything and a huge clock advantage. 37 seconds for Nana in this position.
Incredible. He's just thought of 4 seconds, basically.
Yes. And she's going to put the king on g2, finish her development in the most harmonious way.
Yeah. Castling by the hand there. Oh no, she goes for h4. Love it.
Queen trades denied. And Nana tried to get creative with little time and this backfired. It's a beautiful idea. Pawn takes knight, the bishop on f3 is hanging. We should come in with an attack on h3. But Divya finds the best move and this deflects the queen because the bishop on e7 hangs.
Nice intermezzo tactic there.
Very nice, but watch out, queen takes pawn, checkmate. But you can just take the knight now.
Correct.
Notice how the bishop defends the rook on c1. The bishop on f3 isn't attacked. And with this, she went on to win the game in just the next few moves. She's up a piece, not much to be done here. And this is where she resigned. She was going to be up another piece.
Yeah, nice win there by Divya. Very good use of your opening prep.
Wow, should we take a look at the standings one time before we go into the final round of the day? And here we are, Rakesh, after round 8.
Yeah, Wesley So versus Wesley So in the leading by a point, but he is taking on Praggnanandhaa, who won against Arjun. So that's going to be a crazy matchup. Arjun plays Vidit. So that's a matchup for second place there in the open section. In the women's section, I think we have like a 2-horse race with Goryachkina and Carissa Yip leading as we see the players taking their seats one last time, Tanya. But you want to end the day on a high.
100%, because for a chess player, nothing is more devastating than having a bad end because then you don't have time for a recovery. There's no next game happening immediately.
Exactly.
Here, you're just on a roll. You're not really thinking about what has just happened. It's just game after game. So the speed, the pace goes on. And what a way we've got as well to end the day. Like you said, it's going to be Wesley taking on Pragg, Arjun versus Vidit. And I have to say, those are our two marquee matchups in the open section. And in the women, it has to be Carissa, one of the leaders, against Divya Deshmukh.
Oh yeah, that's another big clash, Tanya. And you also want to see, if you are Aravindh Chithambaram or Rakshitta Ravi, who are not having the best of days, if they win this game, suddenly gives you momentum and then you can come back stronger tomorrow. Similar what Volodar Murzin did in the rapid day 3.
Wow, and I'm going to throw this to Chad. Chad, what do you think should be our marquee matchup where we spend maximum time in the open? I'll start with that. Should it be Pragg versus Wesley or Vidit versus Arjun?
I think our producer has told us indirectly which is going to be our marquee matchup there. Shout out to MGD1 for handling that. But Tanya, what's your hot take for this match? I've given plenty, so the floor is yours.
You know, Arjun started the day in such a hot streak with 5 out of 5 and then 2 out of 3 in the last 2 rounds. He just lost a really long game against Praggnanandhaa. I think he's definitely feeling the frustration. He's playing with the black pieces. I think he wants a game in this one. My hot take is that Arjun makes a comeback win here with black.
Let's go.
What do you think, Rakesh?
I think there'll be chaos and then we'll see.
You cannot say that. You just put me on a spot. I felt the pressure and I answered the question. You have to do the same.
Okay. I think I'll also go with your opinion. Arjun is going to create chaos. With it, the more solid and positional player, well, let's see how that will, like, the battle of two styles is going to happen. Ooh, the King's Indian. Arjun employing this a lot of times in the Global Chess League recently, and him and Anish Giri are like they have renowned the King's Indian at the top level in the recent couple of years.
And you know, when a player plays King's Indian, it screams that I want a game. I want to fight for the win in this one. It's one of those openings where very early on, the evaluation bar gives white an advantage in most setups, but that doesn't tell a full story.
Yeah.
Every King's Indian expert says that this is where you ignore the evaluation bar. Because it's all about the attacking possibilities on the King side. And I like Vidit's approach. He's gone for a more solid approach against the King's Indian, not only playing the opening, but Arjun as well. He doesn't want Arjun kind of positions. He doesn't want those King side attacks to flow on.
Yeah, playing on your strengths, and kudos to Vidit on doing that. Let's see how Arjun copes that. He is still in his prep, Tanya, with 3 minutes and 2 seconds on his clock. Bishop E3, knight start jumping. Arjun has got no chill. He's clearly still in his prep, Tanya, and he wants to do something crazy.
Alright, so this one, a slower King's Indian, and as it develops, let's quickly hop over to Wesley's board against Praggnanandhaa, because Wesley, with the black pieces, has managed with that last move, getting rid of that isolated queen's pawn. This is a Queen's Gambit declined opening. By the way, a very well-known setup this one is.
He was adjusting the piece.
So knight takes knight is the only move in this position. And then queen takes knight, setting up a checkmate in one. But I believe this has all been studied. And he went with the bishop, attacking the c6 pawn, knight even.
Not sure if Wesley has equalized.
Not yet. Not till these pawns are still not traded, and there's pressure on c6 as well.
There's a lot of tension in the center. Normally they say who releases the tension is the weaker player.
Alright, so Praggnanandhaa here putting pressure on Wesley. Let's head back to Vidit versus Arjun here. And one way or the other, Arjun just manages to complicate matters. I mean, King's Indian defense, and it's happening just as we speak.
I mean, how does the pawn come on g5 like in just 30 seconds that we weren't watching this game?
Let's actually backtrack to see how that happened, because we thought this is a very positional King's Indian defense, and just like that he said, ignore the question mark. I want to create my chances. He's playing on the dark squares. The black bishop will land on e5 as it does right now. Queen d2, a3 pushing the knight back. Bishop reconnects the rook. Arjun comes with all his pieces. It's all about the fight on these squares right now, which Vidit is trying to keep under control. Knight c5, b4, hitting that knight, and this is where we are.
Yeah, knight goes back. Knight's coming to f4, Tanya. And if you look at the game review, you can see why Arjun is a colorful player. You will see mistakes, blunders, and brilliance. He's covering up all the colors there. But knight coming to f4, I think your hot take is going to be true.
He's putting the pressure, right? No matter what the evaluation of the position might be, it's just very difficult in Blitz with 1.5 minutes to deal with this kind of an attack, this approach.
Yeah, Vidit takes away from the center, and Arjun has a chance to push pawn to c5, kicking the knight away.
So he's won a side pawn right now. I don't think Arjun's going to be bothered with that.
No way.
That's not a pawn you're thinking about.
Arjun may not even notice that pawn.
Alright, if you're not noticing that pawn, the thing is, if you go knight f4, that's too many trades right now. What is that? What is it that Arjun is looking at? With this knight pinned on d4, is c5 a move? Because it does seem like it could potentially win some material. I'm wondering what happens at the end of that line. Knight c7 will jump in.
That's what the madman is calculating. Okay, he goes knight f4, but with the corner knight. Times are even now. Rook b1 with it hitting the b7 pawn on the left. I think gonna end decisively for sure, but not sure in whose favor.
Completely agree with that because Vidit is going all out on the queen side. He's saying that I don't see the firepower in the attack on the king side yet. I'm not worried about it. Arjun's basically gone all chips in on the dark squares on the right flank. We see a trade and finally c5, but there's no rook on a1 anymore. So Vidit can simply move the knight away to an aggressive square coming in with the knight.
But Tanya, big point. You can
What
take
is
with
it?
the bishop. Rook takes and bishop c3, hitting your queen and rook.
Oh, wow. Is that something that Vidit might have missed? Because bishop
Yeah, that's
c3...
unstoppable. Wait a minute.
Knight e2 is there. Knight e2 is there.
Oh, yeah.
But it looks very sad to make that move. But it might be forced. Wait, knight e2? Are there
No, he
tactics?
goes knight b5.
I think potentially there were tactics on the king side. If you went knight e2, we're going to see Arjun win an exchange.
Like for sure. I don't know there's an easy... Yes, Arjun takes the knight, removing the control of the c3 square. Bishop coming in. How is Vidit going to tackle that?
And we can see the bars across there with the evaluation of the other boards. Pragg and Wesley. Wesley, a leader, still in balance right now. Hans pushing against Aravindh. And Vishy versus Murzin. Vishy is the one who's playing for a win, but we'll stay with this one right now, Rakesh, because the rook on e1 is about to be taken.
Yeah, that's a goner, Tanya. And looks like Arjun Erigaisi is taking over.
Pawn on a5 is a goner, then the pawn on a3 will be gone, and then the rook on e1 as well. He
And the
takes it.
game.
Is this just big advantage? Arjun doesn't care about pawns. He wants the e file to open up, to pin and win. Pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn would be GG's.
Yep, that's game over. With just 25 seconds now.
He picks up the pawn, but this allows the
Oh,
double
oh.
attacks. There's an x-ray on the bishop on c2. Vidit defends it, and Arjun blocks it. Bishop takes pawn, queen takes bishop is beautiful tactic there that was set up. Queen takes bishop, knight e to check. Folk ideas were there.
Yeah, this pawn is running down the board. Even like rook c2 is a huge idea.
It's the blue arrow
It's the
appears, which
only
means
move.
it's the only move.
Will Arjun find it?
Without
Of course he does.
And I was
What a player.
I was going to say, that is a difficult move to find. You're giving up an exchange and your key pawn. The point is bishop takes rook, knight e2 check.
Exactly.
Knight e2 check wins the game.
And the colorful blue color also appears on the board. Brilliancies and blunders.
Wow. And
Wow.
c1 is now coming in as the knight is defending that square. You just promote. You're going to be up a whole rook here. Arjun Erigaisi about to finish the day.
Yeah, I
On
think
a
this
high.
is resignable. Just queen f4 probably. That's GG's as Vishy Anand has finished his game with a win.
Wow.
Vishy sir is back. Pragg and Wesley drew, so we'll also catch that game a bit later. But this means Arjun with a huge win.
And that will just completely change our standings with Wesley and Pragg having drawn their game.
Exactly.
Arjun's about to do some leapfrogging. Knight e2 trying to deflect the queen to win the bishop on c5.
Ooh, king h2 knight f1 was beautiful tactic.
A fork, so avoided here. Queen b1 check ideas are there.
With it still trying some trick.
Yeah, but you could just simply take that pawn.
Yeah, as he does. It's a whole rook, Tanya. I mean,
It's a whole rook, but Vidit's playing on the 6 seconds that Arjun has.
now
It's still
this
more
is-
time than what Vidit has. Okay, queen g7, kiss of that's checkmate being threatened. Trade. And this is
Now
where
it's
you
an
resign.
extra rook. Wait, Arjun blundered the.
Whoa, was that a blunt? That could not have been intentional. I'm not sure.
Yeah, not sure.
Not sure because there was just no need to give that knight.
It's still winning though.
That is how winning it was.
But he's made it a bit tougher for himself. Yeah, Chad, if we get a chance, we will definitely ask Arjun if he missed that. But looking like it's still enough
But the thing is, you have to create a passer, right? At some point, g4, pushing e4, or he'll first try to collect the a3 pawn, which will be defended with bishop to e7. But then e4 was the problem, creating a passer. So he unpins but loses the pawn. Brings the king forward. At some point, we're going to see a break.
Yeah.
He needs this e-pawn to move forward. g4 has to be the idea. Trying to push the king further away. Rook c2 check. What?
Wait, what drama? Drama.
What happened there?
Arjun wanted to play e4, but the s3 pawn fell, and he pressed the clock without adjusting it. As we see, the arbiters are checking in. We'll get a different angle with it, claiming a win like Heike Martirosyan did against Magnus Carlsen.
All right, so just replay that for us. Arjun was about to make a move.
Yeah.
With its pawn fell,
Correct.
and Arjun had to correct that pawn in his own time.
Exactly.
That is the rule. You
Exactly.
adjust the pawn in your own time, but instead Arjun played his move and then adjusted with its piece.
Yep. And the clock had to be pressed after all the adjustments are done.
You need to adjust everything in your own time, but it looks like the game goes on.
Yeah, maybe I think they'll add 1 minute to Vidit's clock
So
because it's an illegal move, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what the arbiters are doing. So Vidit gets an extra minute to think, and they have restarted. Okay, now I think Arjun's going to blitz out. He almost lost that, Tanya, and from being a rook up.
It's just crazy what is happening here, but it's so much about your nerves and all of that. And with it, he resigns in that position, nothing to play for. Once the king came forward, the g-pawn was falling, checkmating ideas, and Arjun wins the last round of the day. And with that, it's an end to all the games.
And also nice to see the players analyzing, because normally you do that in the heat of the moment.
Yes.
But nice to see that. But Tanya, big win by Arjun Erigaisi, because Wesley So drew. So Arjun is just half a point behind now.
Oh, really catching up there on the leaderboard as we're catching up on our breaths here. And this one saw 4 decisive games with 1 draw on Wesley and Pragg's board. This is how it was in the Open, the whole story there. Nihal getting a win against Wei Yi. It was Hans Niemann with a fantastic game against Aravindh, getting the point there. It was an absolute roller coaster, really, that one. Praggnanandhaa versus Wesley ended peacefully with it. A little bit of a drama there, but it was Arjun who finally got the job done. And Murzin lost to Vishy Anand. And in our women section, we had 3 decisive games and 2 draws in this one.
Yeah, as we see Vaishali, the big winner of the round. Harika also beating Nana Dzagnidze. Stavroula Tsolakidou has beaten Goryachkina, the leader. And she is also in the running in the women's section. If you have a look at our standings, Tanya, Wesley So in the lead, 7 out of 9. Nice performance by him. Arjun in second place. Nihal Sarin winning a couple of games on the bounce and is in the 3rd medal position.
But what a leaderboard this is, because you've got a half a point difference across up until from Wesley to Vidit in the open section. And the thing is, with 9 rounds, you're still not counting out those who are from 6 to pretty much, I would say with Wei Yi at 3.5 there, along with Hans Niemann. It's still anyone's tournament because that's a lot of rounds ahead. And all you need is a hot streak. But right now, Wesley looks like the one to catch up, half a point ahead from Arjun, and then a 1 point difference there. Carissa Yip with 6, and then 3 players on 5.5, including India's Vaishali, and then Vantika right behind with 5 points.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting end. I think in the open section, it's kind of like a 3-horse race, Tanya. But in the women's section, I think it's anybody from the 1st to the 5th position that can take the trophy home tomorrow.
And tomorrow will be the final day of Tata Steel Chess India. Chat, tell us, what was your highlight of today? What was the game that really stands out to you from today? And I know there's a lot to choose from. Is there a moment that comes to your mind, Rakesh?
I think Vidit checkmating Vidit, that game was... Vishy checkmating Vidit. That was
beautiful,
the
right?
highlight of the day for me personally.
How
about you?
I think for me, 2 highlights, and both of them have Vishy in it. One in the gaining end and one in the bad end. I think Arjun's Queen C8 against Vishy was just insane. I think it was a beautiful way to finish off an attack, and I think one quite a tactical genius moment. And then, like you said, Vishy, the masterful execution, the masterpiece that he created, because it was just slowly building, the not caring about recapturing material, but just going for the opponent king at the right time, striking with f6, finishing the game off with g6. A beautiful game. So I think Vishy gave us a lot of entertainment today.
For sure. Even like Pragg's perseverance against Arjun also paid off. That was really fun.
Chad is saying Pragg versus Arjun was quite the highlight.
Yeah. So Chad definitely that. I think the way with which Pragg converted after the strong defense by Arjun was very instructive.
And then there was this moment, right, where Wesley early on walked into a checkmate in one.
Yeah, against Vidit in round one.
In round one, and he ends the day as a leader, half a point ahead. Rook h2 checkmate is what Vidit did with the black pieces against Wesley. It was a position of strength for Wesley. He was up in exchange, and that's how he lost the game one.
So he could have been 8 on 9, not 7 on 9.
And he went on to finish the day right at the top.
I mean, incredible comeback by Wesley there. And it's going to be a super interesting day tomorrow, Tanya, because Wesley has been here to Kolkata 6 times, but that elusive trophy is missing from Tata Steel India Rapid and Blitz.
And I think he wants that. You know, he's quite a favorite here. He's a fan favorite here in Kolkata. Everyone loves him. It's pretty much like a home to him every year, like you said. He's been here pretty much from the start, the inception of the tournament. And
he's been to the... Yeah, he hasn't won, and he's been to the Gariyat flyover as well.
The Gariyat flyover, yes, he's played that. I think that video is online as well on Chess Base India. And we were talking about that, just the rich history and the culture of Kolkata and how that just makes it the most fitting city in India to host Tata Steel Chess India.
Yeah, for sure. And we had a packed auditorium today. Tomorrow, it's Sunday. Anya, what are you looking forward to the last day here at Tata Steel Chess India?
I'm looking at a house full is what I'm looking forward to. I think if you're in Kolkata, you know, it's the final day and it's been such an awesome ride here. You'll get to see all the best players in action. You'll get to see Vishy in action. You know, we'll also decide who wins Tata Steel Blitz. It's going to be an amazing day. So come down to the Dhanya Auditorium if you're around. If not, of course, you have to catch all the action live. I'm really looking forward to seeing just the way our leaderboard is shaped up. It's just hard to predict. It's incredibly hard to predict right now who takes this away.
It's going to be very hard to choose. And when you and Sahaj return tomorrow, it's going to be a difficult job for you guys.
You know, it's been awesome doing this with you, Rakesh. Your energy, your everything. It's been amazing calling the action with you. And chat tomorrow, it continues. It's the final day here in Kolkata for the Tata Steel Chess India 2026. We will have our Blitz winner. And I will say, you know, in Rapid, we could see players at the top not letting go of the lead. But here in the Blitz, every round we've seen a switch up, and we're expecting more of that as the players have a go at each other one more time with colors reversed. We'll be back, same time, same place. Have a good evening, chat. We'll see you tomorrow.